Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey, here we are on the ultimate Cleveland sports show. How you guys doing?
Salute! Dodgers 3-0, big comeback win the other night.
3-0.
3-0.
Dodgers. You don't get named after your sponsors like
No, we don't have. No, we don't.
Oh,
we
wow.
are team names.
We were the Royals back to the.
Yeah, I know. We were too. But like in our league, it's you get named after your sponsor. So we're Swinging Door.
You know what?
That's a bad name for a baseball
It is.
team.
But it's a great bar. They have excellent food. Check it out in Rocky River.
And they hyphenated it like, hey, we playing Swinging D today.
We do SD. SD on 3. SD. We cut it down.
We were down 6-1, scored 6 runs in the last inning to win. That's right.
Which son
Rally.
2-run triple.
Oh.
Smoked it.
Nice.
He's back. The timing is
Is
down.
the home run fence reachable at your field?
Yeah, we had one kid hit like 6 out last year.
6?
Yeah.
Oh, ours is pretty deep.
He shaved on the way to games though. He was a monster.
yeah,
He's even bigger than my son.
I got a kid on my team who's like must be 5'6". He's probably I think he's 11
lefty?
years old. What?
The lefty,
Yeah.
big dude.
Right.
Big
I think
kid.
he's like 5'6".
Yeah, he's
Close
just
to because my son's 4'11".
Yeah.
He just turned 10.
Yeah.
And he's big for his age. And this kid Ben towers over him.
Well, so it was my happy birthday bowl on Sunday.
Thank you.
It's my son's birthday.
That's
You
right.
guys share it.
Share the birthday, yeah.
So we went to Great Wolf Lodge Sunday, and my
Nice.
wife was watching. He and I walk around the water park.
Yeah.
And she came up to me. She's like, "Hey, he's got you by like a good couple inches." And I said, "No way, no
What?
way."
He's taller than you now?
Yes, we
Really?
did the back-to-back. My man-child has me by like that.
What are you, 5'8"?
5'9".
All right.
What a good day.
we'll
Flexion at the end.
Yeah.
I was on my tiptoes. I couldn't catch him. He's got me. So I will never live that.
All right, well, 3-0, good. Way better than my team. Hopefully we'll get on track today. I'm taking the whole team to the Guardians game on Friday.
Nice.
Nice.
We're very excited.
Astros, right? Or Boston.
Playing the Astros. No,
Astros.
playing Boston and then the Astros.
Yeah.
Starts on Friday, so
Yeah.
that should be a lot of fun. We'll get to the Guardians later. We'll get to that Nudnik Kyrie Irving later. A lot of Browns topics. There was some breaking news this morning. None of us are big golf people, but apparently Live Golf and the PGA Golf, which had this fight for, was it a year? How long was Live around?
More than that.
More than that,
2
2
years.
years. And now they've merged, and now all these guys that, if you want to say sold their souls, sold out, whatever you want to call it, I call it them being rich. They signed all these deals. They still get their money. The guys who were loyal to the P. See, here's the bottom line. The billionaires who run these things, they don't give a shit about you.
They don't.
They don't care. And I have no sympathy for the players. They're all rich. They're just different levels of rich. But now they've merged, and this, I guess, victory lap or something.
In sports, we talk about like rivalries, and we try and build up when guys like talk a little smack about each other, whatever. And it's all very vanilla, really, and sanitized. But in golf, they really do hate each other. Like Brooks Koepka and the announcer Brandel Chambly have been in this feud about if Koepka should be eligible to play, and Rory McIlroy has been one of the most outspoken against the Live guys in general, and now they're all one big happy family again. This is going to be wild to watch. Like they truly do not like each other, and they just throw bombs at each other. And now to have to coexist again, this is going to be fascinating to see how this plays out.
Congratulations, all you guys. You played yourself. At the end of the day, they offering dudes $200 million to go play over in Saudi Arabia. And
was it $200 million? A golfer got $200 million?
Guys,
they got more. Some guys got more.
Jeez.
What would they offer Tiger? Like $600 million?
600 million.
Yeah.
And he can't even play anymore.
Doesn't matter. They wanted the name recognition.
So you telling me how sick do you got to be? You turn it down, because you got patriotism and you got on your moral soapbox, and then come to find out, the PGA who had sued them, all of the dudes that were saying you guys are doing the United States a disservice because of your affiliation. Guess what? Now all of them belong to the same company.
Fine. I don't know that the players that decided not to take the money should be ripped. I mean, if they...
I'm not ripping them.
No.
But or be made fun of. I mean, they
feel salty as hell
took a moral
today.
stand. Good for them. Fine. I mean, this is how I feel in general. People want to, on both sides of the political aisle. I was just talking about not being political, but I'm not, because I'm talking about both sides. There are people on both sides, depending on the business, who will say, I'm not going there, or I'm not buying this. And my theory on this has always been, that's fine, do whatever the hell you want, just don't tell me I have to do it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
It's the same thing with politics and religion. Do whatever the hell you want, just don't tell me I have to do it too. And that's it. You wanna boycott Live, you wanna boycott Target, you wanna boycott Chick-fil-A. Good for you. Just shut the hell up about it. I don't need to hear about it. I don't want to follow your lead.
Take your standards individually behind closed doors and do the little good you can.
But I'm not going to rip somebody.
But I'm not going to rip nobody for taking a bag of money. Like now, I'm sure there's guys behind closed doors that are like, I probably should have said
Oh, 100%, of course. I am as pro-capitalist as they come. Take the money. Every time. Take all you can. And this is why. Because those who took a moral stand, good on you for doing that. But now what did it get you?
Now you're part of the same company.
What did it get
Even though you didn't want to be. And now it's going to. So is it going to be called the PGA or is it going to be called something else?
That's to be worked
The
out.
story and the details will be announced later. Just to give you guys a idea of the money Liv was throwing these golfers. Phil Mickelson, when he signed, the details of the annual salary of the contract with Liv were never released. But Phil Mickelson's signing bonus was reportedly $200 million.
That's the bonus.
Brooks Koepka,
$200
Bryson
million for
DeChambeau,
what? For 1 year?
Just a signing bonus. So not his
to
annual
join
salary,
Liv.
just a signing bonus. And Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, and Bryson DeChambeau reportedly received $100 million.
And it's a good thing they took those money. Those guys were probably pretty destitute before that.
I would have had to take that money and go right to church. I'd have went to church twice that day.
I would not have gone to church, but I would have gone.
You don't have to be a big golf fan if you want to learn a little bit more, a little bit behind the curtain of the Netflix series Full Swing. Gets into it a little bit with follow some of these golfers around and gets into their lives and what some of the guys that took it and some that it was really well done. I watched the whole documentary while I was driving to Indianapolis.
While you were driving, you were watching TV.
I had it in the dash. I was more listening. It was more a podcast.
Jason got one of them cars they drive themselves. He was back to popcorn and everything.
One last thing real quick before we get to the Browns. I need an opinion, all right? Or what do you guys do in this situation?
Okay.
Because this happens to me often, especially when I go to the bank. Do you ever go to the bank or do you everything online?
My wife does most of it, the in-person banking, and I do online.
Yeah.
I rarely go to a bank. Rarely.
I wasn't going to a bank when I was on the Fan because my checks were direct deposit.
Sure, yeah.
But here we get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Right? Through the company. So you got to go in and I mean you can do some of it on your phone, but there's
y'all get checks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get direct deposit?
Paper comes in the mail. Everything.
Oh hell no.
You get direct deposit?
Hell yeah.
I didn't know that was possible.
I get direct deposit for my podcast gig, but not for this.
I didn't know they still mail checks until we started doing this.
But so I go to the bank today, right? And the woman behind the counter, I was tired. It was early in the morning. I had a weird night's sleep. And I go into the bank, and the woman's super friendly. And I'm like, oh, fine, that's nice. And she's like, so how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing okay, blah, blah, blah. But that to me, it should be the end of the small talk. I don't know you. I appreciate that you're friendly. I don't mean to be rude. If you were a fan of the show or a fan of me, I would be a little more. But then she's like, so, got any exciting plans for today? And I'm like, so here I'm to the point where do I tell her I'm going to the dentist today? Do I tell her I have a Little League game I'm coaching, that I'm recording a podcast with G. Bush for my TV, that I'm doing a TV show? How much detail, once she asked me, are you doing anything fun today, do I need to give her? Can I just shut down the conversation? And then, and you're torn because you don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
She was super bubbly. So what do you guys do in this situation?
Well, I mean, first thing I thought of when you said, I don't think we talked about this on the show. I told you about it. Yeah. When I got a physical a few months ago, going through the annual physical, blah, 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 blah. We get to the point of drop your pants and turn your head and cough. And as he's holding my manhood, he goes, love you on the show.
Yeah, that's awkward.
I was like, really?
Now?
I've been in here for 25 minutes.
You couldn't have told me before my balls were in your hand?
That's not even a pause. That's a straight up stop.
That was wild.
That is kind of
I had no idea.
That's even worse.
I said thank you. I didn't know what else to say.
Thanks for being a fan. Thank
Shout out to you. Shout out. I just fake it.
You just fake it? Tell some crazy story, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe I should do that.
I just fake it, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it only take me a couple of minutes. I'm only gonna be in there a few seconds or whatever. And I guess it's part of the game. So I just fake it if I'm not feeling too
What
good.
if I said something really disturbing? Like I said, yeah, you know, it's going to be a great day. I got this girl tied up in the back seat.
You should say, I plan on robbing a bank today. See how that goes over.
Oh, yeah, look, right. Like, listen.
I'm in the bank.
Now, hold on.
Yeah.
See, y'all got the luxury of that. I better not ever. What you talking about?
G-Bush?
What? You can't do like what?
They'll be hitting the panic alarm.
I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to withdraw some money, dog. That's it.
Yeah, don't be making those jokes. All right, let's talk some football. Believe it or not, training camp starts next month.
That's crazy a little bit.
That is factually correct. Next month, training camp begins. It may be late next month, and we are still early this month, but next month, training camp begins. And Mike has got an exercise for us to take care of.
Yeah, we're going to do training camp and minicamp predictions here in a second. But first, we're going to start with what we do all summer, and that is we find lists that people put out.
Yeah.
They rank things, and we either agree, disagree, rip them apart, or tell them they're smart. So today's list has to do with head coach rankings. The 33rd team, and this was Ross Tucker's rankings, went through and listed 1 through 32, his rankings of the best head coaches in football, and you could take 171 here. Steve, we'll go through the list here. He didn't get into any specific criteria as to why he ranked anyone ahead of anyone else.
Let me say that I generally really like this 33rd team. I don't even know where it started out of, like who started it, but I really like a lot of the stuff they do. And I love Ross Tucker. And Ross Tucker and I believe Kevin Stefanski went to the same school. I believe they both went to Penn.
I do believe that is correct, yes.
And so I know from interview, you know, when I was on the fan, and Ross Tucker would be on with us during the football season every week. And Ross was a big fan of Stefanski, so I was a little surprised where Stefanski ended up on this list, though those last 2 years have gone poorly. So go ahead.
So here's the list, and then I'll give you his reasoning for putting Stefanski where he did, and then we could discuss whether or not this is appropriately ranked, underranked, or whatnot. But the top 5 head coaches, according to Ross Tucker, from the 33rd team: Andy Reid at number 1, Belichick 2, Tomlin 3, Sean Payton 4, Nick Sirianni 5. Any immediate qualms with the first 5?
Dang, Sean Payton just get up there? Like,
I don't think.
Like,
I would
pull up.
Me personally, I would not put Sean Payton that high.
I mean, Nick Sirianni's only done it for 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm. This very much has a "what have you done for me lately" feel to it.
But except for
then
Belichick.
Tomlin is there.
Belichick said
Tomlin haven't done anything for us. They've both been mediocre.
Yeah.
It's a weird list. I don't know. I got to see. Listen, coach rankings are so weird.
It's so subjective.
It's whether you have a good team or not. If you have a good team, your coach is okay, right?
Except that Tomlin and Belichick have mediocre teams.
So,
but they're godfathered into that list, kind of. So But if we're godfathering those guys, then why Sirianni 5 based on 1 season?
Let's go to the next 5 players or coaches, on the list. Number 6, Kyle Shanahan. 7, Sean McVay. 8, Brian Daboll. 9, Pete Carroll. And 10, Doug Peterson.
Now, here's something I don't understand. Like, again, if we're basing it on the team, which mostly it is, I may not be the biggest Zach Taylor guy, but outside of the Chiefs and maybe and really outside of the Chiefs, who's been better the last 2 years combined than the Bengals?
Not very big teams. Nobody.
Because the Rams were great 2 years ago, beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl, but the Rams were terrible last year.
I guess he's just. I mean, this is his list, and he's putting his personal preference on it.
Yeah,
and which is fine. It's his list. He can do what he wants.
I mean, Daboll is what, 1 year?
1 year.
Yeah, Brian Daboll had 1 year, won 1 playoff game. Zach Taylor in the last 2 years has gone to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
So Stefanski after 2020 would have been a top 8 coach on this
I
list.
like Daboll too, but to put him at 8, I mean,
that's a little
silly.
nuts.
All right, next 5. Still no Kevin Stefanski on this 5 tiers of coaches, or 5 some, whatever you want to call it. You have John Harbaugh. There's your Zach Taylor Bowl. Mike Vrabel at 13. Mike McDaniel at 14. And Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach, at 15.
11, 12, and 13 should be all higher.
I agree.
Yes.
All 3 of them
I
should
agree
be
with
higher.
that too.
Mike Vrabel is
14 and 15 should both be lower.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike McDaniel and Kevin O'Connell had 1 season, and they both lost in the first round of the playoffs, right?
Yeah, the Vikings lost to the Giants. The Dolphins lost to the Bills. Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
All right, next. 16 through 20 here. We have Dan Campbell, Matt LaFleur, Arthur Smith, Ron Rivera, and Brandon Staley. Stefanski comes in the next tier of coaches, or next 5
Brandon Staley's what
here.
team again?
Chargers.
Right.
There is no planet where Stefanski should be ranked below Brandon Staley. Sorry, I know he's a local guy. But
no, he should be ahead of Staley. I'd put him ahead of Ron Rivera, too.
I would, too. I'd put him ahead of Arthur Smith.
Yeah, Arthur Smith. I'm like, what? LaFleur might be a little low.
I actually think Arthur Smith did a decent job with a pretty bad team.
Yeah,
last year.
he did, but
yeah,
I mean,
but it's 1 year again. Like, I don't know. Go ahead.
And then the last list of the non-first-year head coaches is Mike McCarthy, Sean McDermott at 22, the Bills coach, which seems astronomically low as well.
Agreed.
Stefanski at 23, Frank Reich at 24, Robert Saleh at 25. And let's end the list here, Steve. We'll just go to the last one. Knock out the last couple. You have Todd Bowles at 26, Dennis Allen 27, Matt Eberflus 28, Josh McDaniels at 29, and then a tie at 30th with the 3 brand new head coaches, Shane Steichen, D'Amico Ryans, and Shane Gannon.
All right.
Who are
So Stefanski
Jonathan
at 23 is the real question.
Jonathan Gannon.
I don't
Jonathan
even
Gannon,
know
excuse
them
me.
dudes. I know D'Amico Ryans because I thought he still was playing. The rest of them two, what do they do? Like, I don't know.
They're
Like,
new head coaches.
They were the coordinators
Gannon
for the
came
Eagles.
from the Eagles, and
right.
Steichen came from the Eagles,
Both
right?
did. They were the 2 coordinators
I
for the
ain't
Eagles
paying
last year.
attention to them.
I just got to thank all these other teams for not taking my defensive coordinator. I can't believe nobody hired
We
him.
was trying to get him up out of
I
here,
know.
too.
I've felt all along like Stefanski, based on 3 years, belongs to me middle of the pack.
And when
I can't put him any higher.
no,
than that.
that's the first time I saw that list
Yeah.
when Mike sent it out. And at 23, I thought, all right, well, that's probably somewhat close. Now looking at where the rankings are and where the names are, Anthony, you misspelled Saleh.
That was me. That's
Oh, God.
actually that's terrible on me. You're right.
Finally, it wasn't me.
I don't understand. Like, why would Harbaugh be 11, but Mike Tomlin be 3?
Kind of crazy.
Like, they're kind of the same guy in a way.
Yeah.
They both have had a lot of success over the years, and both have been kind of mediocre.
And you
in
mean to
recent
tell
years.
me if you had your pick of any NFL head coach, you'd find 10 guys before you got to John Harbaugh you'd
Yeah,
rather have lead your team?
that's
There's
crazy.
no way. There's
He
no
had
way.
Brian Daboll ahead of.
That's asinine.
ridiculous.
That's asinine.
Listen, everybody's got their own opinion. What was his take on Stefanski?
We have that. Steve, if you give me number 178A, I'll read you.
Please,
It's split into
178A,
2.
Steve. Let's get on with that.
But this is what Ross Tucker
Not
said about
178B.
Stefanski. This feels like a big year for Stefanski
You
after
think?
he won a playoff game and had the Cleveland Browns on the precipice of an AFC championship game in year 1. They've gone in the wrong direction the last 2 years. Next, with Deshaun Watson eligible to play the full season, Stefanski better make sure Browns owner Jimmy Haslam starts to get a return on that absurd investment, or Haslam will have to find someone else who can.
I mean, I think the one thing, to be fair, against Kevin Stefanski is he goes into the season on the hot seat.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. He could lose. If things, like how many guys on that list ahead of him are likely to lose their job if they have a bad season?
Nobody else in the AFC North.
Right. Those 3 guys are not losing their job.
Staley's ahead of him inexplicably.
Staley,
I'd have
right.
to see the list again.
Yeah. Mike, can you give us 11 to 15 and 15 to 20 again, if possible?
Sure. Steve, 172.
Let's look
start
at some
6
of
through
these
10.
guys. Like, are any of these guys in danger of being fired if their team has a bad season?
This is 6 through 10 real
Okay.
quick. Shanahan
Those guys aren't
safe.
going anywhere.
None of those guys are
McVay
getting
safe.
fired.
Dable safe. Carroll safe. Peterson safe.
Right.
Next.
Okay.
Harbaugh.
Zach
safe.
Taylor's
No,
not getting
no.
fired.
Safe.
Vrabel
No.
probably not.
Vrabel might resign before he's fired.
Yeah.
McDaniel.
Daniel O'Connell, they're not getting fired.
They're
Not
two-
it, no.
They
They
took
went
it
to
1
the
year,
playoffs, right?
and they went to the playoffs.
And here's 16.
Dan
through
Campbell's
20.
not getting fired.
Rivera absolutely on the hot seat. Staley.
Rivera, Staley on the hot seat. Arthur Smith shouldn't be. Matt LaFleur, I don't know. I mean, the Packers are a weird team because they don't have a true owner.
They reset, right? Like you get rid of.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to
gets
get
a reset.
reset.
I don't think LaFleur's on the hot seat, but I don't guarantee that he doesn't get fired.
I
Is
agree with
fair?
that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. He's not on my first list. He's not at the top of my list, but there's no guarantee he survives the year.
And the one thing I'll say about Dan Campbell is Dan Campbell feels to me like one of these coaches that is good with a team that sucks and can get like them working hard.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the nitty gritty and they're in big games, I don't know if I trust him
Right.
to be smart enough to make the right decision.
Was Mike McCarthy on that list somewhere?
Yeah, lower.
Yeah, he was 21.
Yeah.
I think he might be on there. I think he's on the hot seat if they don't do nothing.
No, I don't think he is. Jerry doesn't like firing people.
It's weird with Dallas. Like, Jerry feels like a lunatic, but he takes forever to let people go.
Yeah.
I mean, he is patient there. You got to give him that.
I mean, Garrett.
To the point where I think he's too patient.
Yeah.
Garrett was on that staff. He was getting rumored to get fired every year.
Every year?
He just kept being there.
Well, because the expectations for the Cowboys, they're overhyped every year.
Yeah.
You know, but I would have Kevin Stefanski what was he, 23?
He was 23.
I'd probably have him 5 or 6 spots higher.
Yes.
But I will say,
I'd have him 15 to 18, somewhere in there.
I will say this, though. If you look at that list and you say, who has the most ability to move up from where they are at the end of the year? Kevin Stefanski is right now at 23. But if he gets Deshaun Watson in offensive play,
Brian Daboll's in the top 10. He could be in the top 10.
He could be in the top 10 tomorrow.
Well, again, I don't understand. Why is it, I know Zach Taylor sucked the first 2 years he was there, and it was criticized. And I don't love Zach Taylor. I don't think he's a great coach.
He is the most. He is the Denver Nuggets of head coaches. He is the most underappreciated.
It's crazy.
Like,
I don't understand
disrespect,
that.
whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a great head coach
He's not
either.
great, but he's good.
I don't.
He's not elite. I'm not giving. But like Joe Burrow loves him. That's got to mean something.
I don't understand. Like, what do you point to that says he's not a good coach? Like, why?
Well, I watched him play every week.
Okay.
Right? And there are things some of his decision making I'm critical of. But I would be, if I watched but I do the same with Stefanski.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably do the same with every other team I watched,
Sure.
except for maybe Kansas City and 2 or 3 other teams. I think he's a good coach. I think he's done a good job. I think the players are totally bought in on him, and they believe in him.
Isn't he the coordinator?
He's not technically, he calls the plays, but he's not the coordinator.
So
like
dang, he should. Like, I'm like, well, the offense is lights out.
There have been times where he's gotten a little too conservative with the offensive play calling, I think, at times. But I think he's gotten better, as most coaches will, given time.
Absolutely.
And so it's absurd that you put Brian Daboll ahead of him. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But anyway,
Super crazy.
Listen, Stefanski has a chance to move up the list. Stefanski's one of 2 things is going to happen to Stefanski this year. Either he moves up the list or he's off the list.
Or he's fired.
That's it. He's not going to be at 23 next year.
Yeah.
When is this contract up?
What did he sign? Did he sign 5 years?
I don't even remember.
I'm trying to remember.
If they make the playoffs, does he get an extension?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is what we all want to happen.
Yes. And I've said this before. Jimmy, and we all make fun of him and all the people that they fired. But Jimmy he extended Hugh after a winless season. They gave Hugh an extension. Like, he doesn't want to keep firing people.
No, he doesn't.
He wants this to work.
Yes.
Like, he really wants this to work.
Hell, I don't want to fire nobody. Like, I could be critical and say you got 6 games to prove it or you're out of here. But
you don't want it to happen.
I don't want it to go down because that means reset button on multiple. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah, the Browns have. I mean, when's the last time a coach coached 5 years for the Browns? Did Belichick coach 5 years? Romeo was 4, right?
I'll look it up. Hold
Belichick
on.
made it to 4.
No one in the new era, I don't believe.
Romeo was 4, wasn't he? Or was it even less than that? I can't remember now.
I think Butch Davis was only 4.
Mangini did not go 5 years. Did Belichick make it 5? I can't remember now.
I mean, it might be Marty.
It's been a while.
I don't think Belichick made it 5. I don't think he did.
Belichick technically started in 91 and coached through 95, according to what I'm looking at right here.
That's
That's
4
5.
years.
91,
5 years.
92, 93,
That's
94,
5 on the
95.
dot.
So Belichick coached 5 years.
91, 92, 93, 94, 95.
Okay.
He coached 80 games, so yeah, five
Yeah,
years.
okay. So, and then before that, who's the last guy to coach more than 5? Marty. Right? Schottenheimer?
Marty only coached 71 games, so no. It was Sam. According to this, I'm looking at Wikipedia, he coached 84, 85, 86,
Go to Pro
87.
Football Reference and look at the breakdown there.
Sam Rotoligiano.
Oh, my God.
Sam
Ritigliano.
He said
Ritigliano.
Sam Rigatoni.
Sam Italian last
Sam
name
Ravioli.
coached 97 games for the Browns from 1978 to
my
1984.
God.
Say his last name again.
Ritigliano.
Okay.
Dude, Browns fans are going to be
They're
killing
going
you
to
Well,
now.
listen, Ritigliano coached 17 years before I was born. So excuse me for not knowing.
I mean, you got to
a
know
Browns
that.
coach from the 70s.
Coach Sam, is he's still around?
Yes.
I saw him a few years ago.
Did he have a winning record as a Browns head coach?
I believe so, just slightly over 500, right?
G?
He's either right below 500 or right above.
I think he's right under, but it is right around.
It's close to 500.
It's I want to say like maybe 526.
I'm saying just over 500.
526.
Just under 47 and 50 in 97 games.
But he had a couple of really good years as head coach.
He was a 2-time coach of the year, UPI coach of the year.
Great guys from Brooklyn also. Anyway, he and I were at a charity event together a number of years ago. Great guy. But, okay, so Belichick, 5 years. If the Browns have a good year this year, then most likely Stefanski will be a head coach for more than 5 years here and thus become the longest tenured Browns coach since Rutigliano, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But he's got to have that
5 years too.
Schottenheimer was 5?
Correct.
So since Rutigliano, you've had Schottenheimer for 5 and you've had Belichick for 5. That's it. And hopefully Stefanski will pass that because that means the Browns have a good year this year.
Yeah, he'll be here for, especially if he gets Deshaun Watson to play like Deshaun Watson is used to. I think, D and Jimmy Haslam they'll be head over heels.
The last thing we want to be doing in November is discussing who the next coach of the Browns should be.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
That is so not good for us.
My head will explode if we have to go through coaching
or if you have to pronounce Sam Rutigliano again.
I'll never pronounce Sam Rutigliano incorrectly again. That's a fact.
Fair
My
enough.
promise to you, the Cleveland sports
There you
viewers.
go. All right, Mike.
All right, so next up, we got an ad read.
Yeah.
And our ad read today for this next topic
is
the USFL.
Good.
You like the suspense there, by the way?
We're
We
going.
are heading down to Canton on Saturday to go watch our good friend Boogie Roberts take on whoever they're playing because we don't care who they're playing. All we care about is Boogie and the Pittsburgh
Mike's
Maulers.
going. Anthony's going.
Jason's
dad,
going.
I'm going. I'm taking my
Steve's
going. I'm taking my boys.
His giant son. I'm going with my son.
They might
Are we
put
sure-
pads on them.
Is Jason's son taking Jason or is Jason taking his son?
Who's
The
driving?
question has to be asked.
He's giving him a piggyback ride.
Yeah.
Get on the back,
Gee,
Dad.
you can't go, right?
No, I got a show to do.
Okay.
But if you guys want to come, tickets, USFL.com. They are cheap, fun, family fun for everyone. Check them out at USFL.com, and we'll be there on Saturday. It is the first day of mandatory minicamp for the Cleveland Browns, and I figured we should have some fun. And
So I
let's
guess
make
Myles
some
Garrett will be
predictions.
there.
Myles Garrett is there.
Yeah.
There's picture proof that Myles Garrett is there, so no one has to worry or freak out about that. He was not at voluntary. He is there at mandatory.
Is everybody? I assume everybody's at mandatory.
I have not seen any tweets. I'm scrolling through the timeline right now of anyone who is not there who's supposed to be there.
It would have been a big story. If
100% attendance so far for the Browns at minicamp. Tyvis is out there. Tyvis is going to give us a full report from what he sees tomorrow when he's on the show. But I figured let's have some fun and predict who will be the #1 talking point at the end of this minicamp period on Friday. So we're doing a little headline predictions without actually making headlines, and we're going to start here with G. Bush.
G. Bush. G. Bush.
So
do you remember who you told us?
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, that's all y'all got? I thought it was a graphic coming, but we're not going to take tab board full right now. Let's get to it. I'm going to say this. This guy, we've been talking about DeAndre Hopkins so tough. We've been talking about him. And realistically, the guy who actually was the dude everyone was talking about a little bit before that was Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore, during this little off-season program, is going to step up, and people are going to stay and recognize he's just not a little, slot guy. He's a dude that they could do a lot of different things with. I was talking to Hayden. He was on my show the other day, and he was talking about some of the wrinkles they had in the offense with him being in the backfield motion and doing some different things like that. I just think that Elijah Moore is going to be one of the guys that really stands out a little bit because, A, we haven't had that specific type burst and body type. B, I think he's hungry to get a new contract. I think a lot of those guys, not only Donovan Peoples-Jones, not only Elijah Moore, those guys want to kind of resurrect and get their next big deal. So I think Elijah Moore is going to be one of the guys that you're going to see Deshaun Watson throw the ball to a lot. You might see screens to him. He can play a lot of different roles or positions. I just like what he's going to bring to the table, and I think he's going to be one of the dudes people say, well, look, do you really need DeAndre Hopkins? Because this guy, Elijah Moore, looks really, really good.
All right. Elijah Moore for G. Jason's up next.
This is very simple, guys. Don't overthink this. There's only one player that matters, and we've spent the entire offseason talking about him. Deshaun Watson. That's the only thing everyone's going to be writing about this week. is Deshaun Watson, and you're going to see a little bit of everything. We've seen a lot of good, and we've seen a lot of ugly since Deshaun got here. We've seen a lot of good and a lot of ugly since OTA started a couple weeks ago. He had a horrible performance his first game, or not game, his first practice that was open to the media in the OTA session. I didn't see that one. I was there last week. He looked much better last week. We talked about the seam route throw that AVP said made the hair on his arm stand up a little bit. So, Deshaun's still working his way back, and I think you're going to see a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. And that's to be expected given how much time he missed and the way last season ended. But he's the only thing that matters this year, and that's the only player that we've talked about for 10 months, really, and that's the only player that the media is going to be talking about this week.
I mean, that's fair, and that's probably the right answer. By the way, doesn't AVP look like Freddie Kitchens a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah, you got a little Kitchens.
A little bit.
They came from the same redneck tree. But anyway, here's my guy. And look, before you put it up there, guys, let me just say that, a percentage of our fan base is insane. Now, this is no offense because this is the same in every city in America. There's a percentage of the fan base that is crazy. Now, the thing that's crazy about our fan base is that there's a percentage of our fans that probably have never left Northeast Ohio ever in their lives that think the Cleveland media is tough and tough on their teams. Now, anybody that's spent any time outside of Cleveland knows that we have one of the softest medias in all of America. But for some reason, some of our fans think that our beat reporters are tough in this town, which they're not. Now, most of our beat reporters that cover the Browns, they are dying to be on the hype train. They are dying to be excited about somebody. And Deshaun Watson is always going to get talked about so much. But Juan Thornhill has come in here, and he's made a big hubbub about people are too negative. And he said, well, people aren't negative in Kansas City. Well, they just won the freaking Super Bowl. Of course, it's not going to be negative. And Kansas City was already good before Juan Thornhill showed up and went along on the Patrick Mahomes ride. We love Juan Thornhill. We're happy he's part of the team. But a lot of the media is going to want to do a little ass-kissing of Juan Thornhill because the fans are all excited about he's turning it around stuff. And so I think we'll get some Juan Thornhill hype. Now, by the way, none of this hype, none of these storylines, none of it means shit. It's practice. Nobody's really getting hit. Nobody's in any danger. None of it matters at all in terms of like how they look or how they don't look, in my opinion. But Juan Thornhill is going to get the love train going his way.
Juan Thornhill is going to be the new Trevor Bauer at a bowl.
No,
I could see it.
No,
start out liking him, and then
no.
I'm telling you, it's the next Trevver Bauer.
No,
I won't take it to the level of Baker. That it won't reach Baker status.
Hey, you better not miss no tackles, dog. Don't you miss no assignments.
I see it coming. I see it a mile away coming down the tracks.
Number one, Trevor Bauer, much worse human being than Baker. I don't think Baker's a terrible human being.
No.
I just can't stand him because I just can't stand him. Trevor Bauer's a bad human being, I think. But no, I honestly have no beef with Juan Thornhill. I'm joking around, picking on
That's how it starts.
The insaneness that we have to be positive because we're all supposed to be cheerleaders for the team. But I think Juan Thornhill's a nice player. And I think, if he plays well. Now, if he doesn't play well, I'm going to be on his ass.
I just see it coming.
You know what?
Trevor Bauer 2.0.
I can't 100% say Jason's wrong.
I'm never wrong.
Even though he is wrong. But, no, I don't
Oh,
I
God,
don't
except when it comes
to that was ugly.
That was bad.
That was ugly.
bad. That's where I'm wrong.
I think if you drill down on that a little bit, that happens all the time in the city. Like, I always joke and tell people, here, all you got to do is say, pick one restaurant you like in Cleveland, pick one random road, and then pick a little suburb and make a story about it. They'll love you to death. They'll love you.
Oh, yeah. When he tweeted, Juan Thornhill this week tweeted, the food in Cleveland is hot. Oh my God.
Listen,
there were people losing their minds.
This guy gets us. He understands exactly what we've been going through.
Yeah.
This guy's through and through. Don't let him show up to a Guardians game. Don't let him be in a Guardians Yankees game.
If he shows up wearing a Jose Ramirez jersey, it's all over.
3 extra credit points. They're gonna boost his Madden rating from an 82 to an 87.5.
That's right.
I'm like, this guy. That's all you gotta do. That's all you got to do. Indoctrinate yourself, dog.
There's going to be people. There's already a protest of why is Juan Thornhill not on the every top 5 list of best safeties in the NFL.
He actually is the best safety. You didn't even really know.
No doubt.
Definitely on the watch list.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's nothing really out of mini camps and mandatory OTAs that matters.
No.
Like it matters to the players and the coaches, but there's nothing that we the media or fans really learn.
Did y'all hear what Jim Schwartz said the other day?
What'd he say?
He was like, so tell me about tell me about what you guys have, the growth that you've had in a couple days. He said, growth? We ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
He said, bro, it's too early for all that. He's like, I gotta see people with the pads on. I gotta see people when they get physical. He said, defense is about physicality. I can't tell you, these guys are growth? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, but I didn't hear that. I was there and I didn't hear that. But the only thing I will say about this whole point of the season, not so much training camp, but even the stuff that's already passed, is Kevin has said multiple times how important these installment sessions are in this offseason program that really they didn't have because of COVID and because of the OTA boycott that Treader led. They didn't have that for a number of years. They did have it last year, and it didn't really help on the field. But they had the Deshaun thing hanging over them. So this is really the first year where it was clear, crystal clean waters the whole way, where there was not a big storm to navigate.
First time in his 4 years.
First time.
It's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That he's been here as long as he has, and this was the first time he had a full program with no COVID restrictions, with no quarterback restrictions.
Yeah.
You know who your guy is. You know you're going to have him day one.
Yeah.
And he has really put an emphasis, multiple times he said, of how important these sessions are. Not so much the training, this mini camp, but just in totality, the off-season program that they didn't have. They were doing it over Zoom a few years ago. So for that reason alone, I do think that there is some importance to it. Now, are you going to see growth out of the defensive line in one OTA session? No, of course not. But just the totality of the offseason program can be beneficial.
I think it's more important for like the receivers, the quarterbacks, the skill positions, because to me, one of the most underrated things is I don't know what they're going to run. I just don't. Like I don't know what the run pass mix is. I don't know what the formation variation is. If you say.
But are we going to learn that in OTAs?
No, not really. But you can at least see a little something.
Yeah.
Like if I were to ask y'all two, what on offense, what is the offensive identity of the Cleveland Browns? What would you say?
Throw the ball.
Or that's what I'm assuming it's going to be.
Now, and so for me, all I've seen was run the ball.
Yeah.
Like so if you're going from that's your identity of running the ball, we say that year after year, and now the identity is pass the ball. That's a really big transition to do in 1 year. That's really kind of like you changed your whole philosophy in a year. I don't think many teams do that.
I mean, there's no excuse. The Ravens changed their system in the middle of the season when Lamar Jackson took over. Did they not?
Yeah.
And then the next year when he played the full season, they completely changed what they were doing because it couldn't be any more opposite from Joe Flacco, who was their previous quarterback. Kevin Stefanski has known for 2 years now that Watson is quarterback. I understand last year there was some confusion. This year there's been none.
No.
There's no excuse for this offense not to be transformed. You spent a ton of draft capital and a ton of money to get a guy you believe is going to be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. And don't get hung up on the 5. It could be 4, it could be 7, whatever. You expect him to be one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. You didn't get that to be a run-first team.
Right. And I think last year they were hindered a little bit by the fact that he wasn't ready. He was awful.
Yes.
So they couldn't have overhauled, even if they wanted to, they couldn't have overhauled things.
Right.
But, we've talked about it before on the show. Kevin and Deshaun can get together this whole offseason, and what do you like? What do you like to run? I can draw up as many plays as you want to see. You like this one? It's in. You don't like that? I'll throw it out and give you another one.
Yeah.
We're going to run what you like. Like Kevin has made that clear. They will run what Deshaun is comfortable with and what he likes. It will be a very collaborative effort.
So in that case, if he struggles, are you saying that you got to put some onus on Deshaun Watson as well?
Absolutely, of course.
Because
he's the one with the ball in his hands.
Because he's going to be picking these plays.
He's
going to be a collaborator.
I promise you, whatever they run, he will have approved ahead of time. It's something that he's comfortable with and he likes. There's not going to be anything in the playbook that Deshaun's uncomfortable with it, he doesn't want to run.
I like that because that makes you have a little skin in the game, right?
100%.
Like you can't just say, well, I mean, I run what the coach tells me to run.
No.
Nah, you actually be picking it too. Like you actually in it, man. So I actually like that a little bit because it forces him to take a little accountability on some stuff. Like you help put the stuff in. I like that.
I mean, I don't know why every team wouldn't do that. Maybe not with a rookie quarterback, or if you have, whatever, maybe a journeyman quarterback. But any team that has a quarterback that's the guy, which Deshaun Watson obviously is, to not be doing that,
it has to be collaborative.
Crazy.
It has to be collaborative.
Yeah, because why would you just say, "Well, here are my plays. You better figure it out."
Right.
As opposed to, "Well, here are my plays.
Right.
Let's cut out the ones that don't fit with what you think you do best."
Yeah.
I do think Kevin has a really, what's the word? Not intuitive, ingenuity when it comes to designing an offense.
Okay.
Like we've seen it. We've seen some of the pre-snap motions and some of the confusion and some of the looks. I think Kevin feels like he can roll with whatever you give him, he can make work. And he's done that. He did it with Jacoby Brissett. He did it with Baker. He got more out of them than anybody else has. And now when you give him a talent like Deshaun, if Deshaun still has it in there, I think Kevin can absolutely get it out of him.
I want to see if he could be. So I want to see if he can be one of those coaches. To me, you look at coaches like in the NBA. Phil Jackson to me was not a mediocre coach of mediocre players, right? If Phil Jackson was trying to put the triangle offense in with just middle of the road guys, I don't think he has the patience. I don't think he can deal with mediocrity, and I don't think he would be generally a good coach with medium guys. And it's the same thing in the league. I want to see if he can get from coaching mediocre guys well to being like, I could unlock elite guys and bring something really over the top to the table, where now Deshaun Watson is looking – because the goal is not to be Houston Deshaun Watson, because Houston Deshaun Watson still won 4 games. Houston Deshaun Watson –
the last year, 2 years before that, they went to the playoffs.
They went to the playoffs. But I want to see you get to – oh, wow, this is a different level. And you hope that you can do that because the roster is better here than it was in Houston. So I want to see if he can unlock some different levels.
Yeah, I mean, the criticism that some people have had, including you, is, well, he's done well with mediocre players, but he hasn't done well with great players. Now, I would argue that that's not fair because Nick Chubb is the greatest player they've had skill position-wise, and he's been great with Kevin Stefanski. Some people might not like how many carries he gets. I'm not one of those people. But he's been great, bottom line, with Kevin Stefanski. To me, the criticism with Odell Beckham is unfair because Odell Beckham hasn't been great since he left the Giants.
Right.
You want to say he played great with the Rams? He did have a lot. His yardage wasn't any different. Now, he had a lot of touchdowns with the Rams. I'll give you that. But that was a team that won the Super Bowl, and he was the number 2 wide receiver there, second option. So I think it's fair to say, okay, maybe he's got to prove it more with great players. Okay, let's see it. He got the best version of Baker, as you said, best version of Jacoby Brissett we've seen. Now, if you can get the best version of Deshaun Watson, now you're really talking, because if you can get the best version of an elite, talented player, well, now you're talking about winning a ton of games.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike.
So we were going to do this in overtime, then we were not going to touch on it for a little bit, but we've got a bunch of super chats asking us about it, and a report from ESPN from Jake Trotter and Adam Schefter came out on the 2 Browns players who have been robbed at gunpoint.
Right, Demetric Felton and Greg Newsome.
Well, now we have a third name, and I'm going to read you this exact article. This is word for word. You can take the tag board full, Steve. This is the article Schefter and Jake Trotter just tweeted out. This is from Jake Trotter, word by word. We'll touch on it for a few minutes here. Demetric Felton was a different incident, but here's the article word for word.
Harry and Winfrey.
2 Cleveland Browns players were robbed at gunpoint by 6 masked men, according to a police report. Police redacted the names of the victims in the incident in the report, but a team source confirmed that 2 players were cornerback Greg Newsome and defensive tackle Perrion Winfrey.
Now,
neither was harmed during the incident, police said. According to police, the 2 players left a Cleveland nightclub early Monday morning. When they got to Newsome's truck in a nearby parking lot, 6 masked men jumped out of an unknown car and robbed them at gunpoint at 3:30 a.m. Monday morning. In addition to stealing jewelry, the suspects fled in Newsome's truck. Police are attempting to locate the stolen vehicle now. Newsome referenced the incident on Twitter, saying, quote, It's a cruel world we live in. Newsome, not the only Browns player to have his car stolen over the weekend. Another source confirmed that Browns backup running back Demetric Felton had his vehicle stolen out of his apartment garage. Earlier this week, the Browns begin mandatory training camp on Tuesday. So that's 3 players in the last couple days.
I got to say, and I know some people are going to roll their eyes at this, and I don't care. Why are Perrion Winfrey and Greg Newsome out at 3:30 in the morning?
Nothing good happens after 10 p.m. That's what Jim Tressel used to say at Ohio State when I covered him at Ohio State.
I'll say this, all right? I have been told by somebody I trust that Greg Newsome parties too much.
Yeah.
And this goes right along with what I've been told, that he's out till 3:30 in the morning when?
Sunday night.
Sunday night into Monday morning.
Okay, and they were at OTAs. Was yesterday the first day or was today the first day?
Today.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't care. They're young men. It's their, whatever.
They're young.
I don't know. I just think
they have a target. You have a target when you are a professional athlete in a city. You got a target on your back, and thankfully they're okay. That's the most important thing is everybody's okay. But you got a target on your back, and you got to be careful.
G, am I being unfair?
No. Well, it's understandable that they would be out. I mean, how old are they? 23, 22?
Let me make it clear. I'm not saying they're bad guys because they're partying. I'm not saying that at all, or that they deserve to be robbed or anything like that. This sucks. I'm just saying, and it's easy for me to say as a 52-year-old that's been through a lot.
Yeah.
I'm saying I wish they weren't out partying, and I've heard that Greg Newsome is partying a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to help his career. Now, he's a big boy. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
I mean, at 23, 24, I was probably out till 3:30 in the morning, too.
But we didn't have
we weren't
a $1 million
professional athletes.
job on the line.
We weren't professional athletes.
And, well, like I said, that behavior of them being out, that's just part of the game, and that's going to happen in every locker room, every city. But here's the problem.
You think Nick Chubb's out until 3:30 in the morning?
We wouldn't know. But it's about how you move, though. So it's about how you – see, some people move a little different. Like, some people will go out. You won't even know they go out. Some people go out, and they be at other places where they go the back door.
That's fair.
They don't – they got security there. They don't night pictures, none of that. So with this situation is they gotta learn. You guys are like y'all what we would call, like, people in the streets be calling it, y'all like cupcakes, bro. That's like a dinner plate. Like, you come out of the club, it's 3:30, right? It's dark outside. They know you really ain't gonna have no weapons on you, right? You play football.
Yeah.
Can't have no weapons on you.
Right.
They know you're not gonna really have no security with you. It's 3:30 in the morning. It's after OTAs.
Yeah.
Why would you? You just trying to get and have a good time, do your thing. So now you at a disadvantage. I always tell people, I don't play away games. Away games, the refs cheat you. Or away games, you don't know where the court is. The basket is a little lower. The locker rooms is trash. And the same way with this. When you out and about, them is away games, bro. So now, and a lot of times they don't understand this. This is rampant. You meet people on Instagram. You meet girls. You meet different people in people's entourage. You invite them to the house. You invite them over to this party over here. Now, the girl or whoever you meet, turn around, make that call. She got a team of like 6. Hey, it's some football players over here. It's so over here. I got so-and-so verified. They got about $100,000 of jewelry right now. Who they with? They with a camp? No, it's just 2 of them solo. Now they bring 6 dudes, and it is what it is. And you would never know who dropped a dime on you.
Right.
You'd never know who you put in your circle.
You know those guys are out a lot because it seems like a setup, right?
Yeah.
So,
they would never know. They had to know who you was.
Yeah.
Because they would have not gotten both of y'all and know what card to stand by.
Right.
And yet again, here's Perrion Winfrey in the headlines.
Right.
Yet again.
Right.
And he's the victim in this, but still, by being out at 3:30 in the morning, you put yourself in this position. And that's where, again, like, you have to realize that you're a target, and he has to realize he should be on his very last strike. I'm a little surprised he's here to begin with, that he's still here. But here he is again in the headlines.
I just wonder what the commitment level of these 2 players are. And you could tell me it's unfair. I'm being judgmental of a young man.
I won't go that far.
Maybe I am, but Jason, just that I've heard Greg Newsome's partying a lot.
But a lot of them do. And here's why I'll give him a little bit of a break on this.
Okay.
It's June.
Yeah,
it's not
all
September,
right,
October, November. But it's really, sometimes I think the young guys especially, they don't realize yet the target that they are or the status that they have. And I think I've told this before on this show. I don't remember. when LeBron first came back and the Cavs had to beef up their security, they had former Secret Service on their security team, and they doubled, tripled in size. And I was talking to one of the security guys who was sort of assigned to Kyrie at the time, and they were on a away trip. It was a road trip, and the car stopped in the middle of the road and said, "Kyrie," and like waved him over. Yeah, and right. And Kyrie walked out to the car, and I can't remember if he grabbed him, pulled it back, or after it was over. Anyway, and it was fine. Like they just wanted to say hi to him. Yeah. And the guy told him, "Do not ever approach a car. You have no idea." Right. And Kyrie was 4 years into the league by this point. Right. Like he should have known better. But
just get caught slipping.
But these are just young, and he would have been that same age, 23-ish. Yeah. And I just don't think sometimes that they realize who they are and the target that they are to people. Yes. And it takes something like this, unfortunately, for them to sort of realize that. But again, they're all safe. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt.
Yeah, man, just like, so it's a lot, man. Like, y'all got to understand something. Like, even regular people, like, if you do anything of noteworthy, like, you don't really think about it. You're just a regular person. It happened to me sometime. I don't even be thinking like that. Like, somebody will call your name and you just don't know who it is, and it's just like, all right, any interaction you have out in the community could be a good one or a bad one. And when you got a lot of money, and there's people in the city that you live in that don't got really nothing, they don't care nothing about you playing for the Browns. Anybody always trying to show you love. They're like, you here with this car, you in here with all the girls, and you got $100,000 of jewelry. Yeah. What you think we about to do? At the end of the day, you could feed everybody, right? And so that's just where it come from. So you got to move better. You got to just move. You got to move smarter.
Be interesting to see the follow-up on this. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's switch gears, talk some baseball there, Mike.
It is time to talk a little Guardians. And, guys, it was a rough start to the season for Andres Gimenez. Signed the big $100 million deal this offseason. And then in about the snap of a finger in the last 2 weeks,
he's got hot. Will Brennan, too, has gotten hot.
Yep.
My guy,
But
Will Brennan.
Before we get into the specifics, Mike, on Gimenez and Brennan, let me ask you guys this question, because the Guardians lost their first two games this weekend, Thursday, Friday, to the Twins, including a game where they blew a big lead. And they were what, 5.5 out going into Saturday's action. Now they win Saturday and Sunday to get the lead back down to 3.5. Jason, I'll start with you. Do you think the Guardians salvaged their season by winning those last two games against the Twins?
I don't think. No, I think it's too early.
They lost those two Twins. Those last two have been 7.5 out.
Yeah,
I mean, too early probably. But
too early, but
they don't play the Twins again until August.
Yeah, I know, but it's still June, and I don't believe in the Twins. So for that reason alone, I don't think it was a do or die series, but certainly important. Is there a difference? Can we make that distinction? Important.
Yeah, sure.
And the season being over.
It's like a 7.
I put it this way: if they're 7.5, I don't think Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff are meeting and saying, "Okay, we have to pivot and blow it up."
Right.
There's nothing to blow up. They're all young
guys.
guys.
But you're getting a little closer to that.
You are getting closer to that. To where, I mean, once you get to 10, 10 is sort of that line of demarcation of it. Yeah. Teams have done it. Right. But it's a lot harder to come back from 10 down.
You said something, just because they're hot now, a couple little hits. Yeah. Like, I never got this. So if they play bad, you can't have no knee-jerk reactions. Don't be saying it's over. Yeah. Just, stay the course. But if they play good, the next question is, have they got out of the funk? Are the Guardians, did they turn it on? And I'm like, well, hold on. Yeah. You told the Duke of Knee-Jerk there was rules to this thing. Right. I had to chill. I couldn't say nothing. And now they get a couple hits. I like it. I like Will Brennan. I think he's doing his thing. But still, they still got some question marks. I don't know if that's it. They got a ton
of question marks. It is good to see Gimenez playing better.
That's the biggest sigh of relief of all of it, even more so than Josh Bell.
Well, to me, the biggest sigh of relief was how well McKenzie pitched.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
And then Gimenez. Yeah. And then everything else. Yeah. But we'll get to McKenzie in a moment. But Gimenez was a guy that the Guardians said, we're all in on you. Yes. We've just paid you the second biggest contract in the history of the franchise because we believe you're, if nothing else, an all-star caliber player. And for much of the first 2 months, he didn't play anywhere close to that level. And I know you and I expected him to play that way, and now he's starting to. I'm expecting him to play very well the rest of the season. Baseball, you can always have some ups and downs, but I'm expecting him by the end of the year to have close Maybe not the same numbers as last year, but close to it. Are you?
I don't know that he can. He's so late starting in the game.
Super late.
I don't know that he can get to last year's numbers, but I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily care about that. I want to see him play at that level for these last few months of the season.
Right.
And if he gets to that, if he plays at that level, I don't care if the numbers match with last year or not. You know, I said it before. He was a 7-WAR player last year. You don't go from a 7-WAR to not being able to hit a curveball.
Right.
Like, that just doesn't happen. So you know it's in there. You know they can get it out of him. Big stretch of games coming up. Red Sox, Astros. They're home all week. Get out there. It should be
Tough
beautiful
2 weeks.
weather. Yeah.
You got to go to San Diego. I think. Don't they go St. Louis maybe after that? I can't remember where the second stop.
No, St. Louis was just here.
Or I don't remember. After San Diego, they go to another good team after that, and then the 2 weeks before the All-Star break, they're playing bad teams. So you got to kind of tread water here, but yeah, it's good to see Gimenez getting hot. I feel good about that.
I said it before. The highest dollar guys, the big money guys that they gave the money to, Gimenez, Zunino, and Bell. If those guys get going, a lot of the conversations that we've had to this point.
Well, Zunino, forget it.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If he.
But Bell and Gimenez.
But if Zunino, had he hit to the level that we expected him to, a lot of the other stuff doesn't matter anymore. It's the big dollar investments that have let him down the most. And even just Gimenez getting hot, look how different this looks. And Will Brennan settling in, getting a little bit more consistent playing time. And it looks like he's starting to find his stroke a little bit. I hope that continues to where he can continue to get consistent.
Do we got Rosario's stats back there?
Yeah, he's not good.
Well, I mean, listen, there's still a couple of things here. You said last week, time to move on from Rosario.
Yes.
I mean, I'd play Gabriel Arias basically every day at this point. I'm not, I got to get a good long look.
Come on now. I
can't keep playing Rosario.
224. Now, look, I know he's a clubhouse guy. But I don't care. But at the end of the day, you got all these second basemen and shortstops. Yeah. If he's going to play like that, I got to see what I got. Play, like you said, play Arias as shortstop, right?
Well, you have to make a decision, a long-term decision.
Yes.
You have to choose between Arias and Rocchio. I think it's Arias. Like, I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people feel like it's Rocchio, and I think it's Arias. I think Arias is the long-term.
Listen, Arias hasn't done much,
but it's been inconsistent.
We got to see it. He's got to be their shortstop for the next couple of months.
Play him every day in the same spot. Let him get some sort of level. He's bounced all over the place.
Playing first base.
And once again, it's time for Bo Naylor to come up. It's a home run every day, it seems like.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's stuff. Let's go. Let's stop farting around here.
DFA Zanino, bring up Bo Naylor. You're past the Super 2 stuff.
Trade Rosario, get an A-ball guy, whatever.
I mean, you may have to DFA him, too,
or you know what? Yeah, you may. You're right. The way he's playing.
There's just no value.
His at bat.
Zach Plesac, by the way, got DFA'd over the weekend.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
His at bat.
He was getting torched in AAA.
They got happy when Rosario hit a ball hard. They was like, this is the best he's hit a ball. I said, it's a line out, man.
That's it.
Plesac, I don't know if you guys spent any time talking Plesac. He had a lot of maturity issues.
I wasn't on going back to the COVID, breaking the rules with that.
Yeah, and even beyond that, just not being able there's just a lot of maturity there of thinking he was much better than what he was.
Clevenger and Bauer were buddies, and they all have a lot of the same immaturities.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Clevenger and Plesac, it doesn't matter. I don't know if they were really tight, but I think that Clevenger was impacting some of Plesac's decisions when they were together.
I feel like he always felt he was better than he was.
Yes.
Like in his mind,
couldn't tell him nothing.
In his mind, he felt like he was like Black Jack McDowell. Like I'm like,
Speaking of guys who thought they were better than they were, have you seen what Jake Bauers has been doing for the Yankees?
I saw he's got 5 home runs.
Yeah, he had 2 home runs in a game the other day. It won't last.
Yeah,
because he's not good.
And even if it does,
they had to move on.
They had to move on.
That guy thought he was the cat's pajamas.
Yeah.
Cat's pajamas. Anyway, we got to talk about Tristan McKenzie. Wow. What a performance he had this weekend. I mean, 10 strikeouts, 5 innings. He threw like 70. If he had not been coming off the injury list, he would have gone 7, 8 innings. He was great.
Yeah.
And they needed that.
And they had said for a while he was climbing the walls. I'm a little surprised that it took as long as it did for him to come back. It didn't seem like an injury that was going to take that long to heal. I think Verlander had something similar and was back in half the time. Yeah. But regardless.
Well, they're going to be more careful with him than a 42-year-old Verlander.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But he looked phenomenal. He'd been itching to get back on the mound for the last few weeks. And I I think all signs are pointing to Shane being traded. I really do.
Well, I was going to ask you. I was going to say.
You and I weren't here Friday. He was awful.
But does McKenzie pitching that well actually save Shane Bieber in a sense? Because it's like, okay, if McKenzie is going to be your number one ace, right? If you trade Shane Bieber, it probably makes your roster a little worse.
Well, not if you turn him into a really good hitter or two.
But you're not going to get maximum value for Bieber now. Like all the other teams see this and more.
So why
in terms of where Shane's at now.
Why would you not keep him then if you ain't get maximum value? Why would you keep him if
you're
close?
I don't know that his value is going to improve anytime between now and the offseason. If anything, it's only going to get worse because you lose that extra year of postseason control.
And they need to get some hitting.
Yes.
I don't care who's hot now. They need another bat or two.
Yes.
And they can't. And when they trade him, yes, you're not going to get. If you would have traded him this offseason compared to what you're going to get now, it's not nearly as much.
Right.
But they can still turn him into a hitter, and that's what they need.
Can't they package him? That's why I want Arias to play. Like if you say, all right, we feel comfortable enough with Arias, right? You got Rocchio, you got all these other young guys on there. Can't you package Bieber with something else and get a stick?
Well, I mean, you should be able to get. It depends how good a stick you want to get.
I would like a.
But yeah, I mean, you should be able to get a starting caliber quality hitter for Bieber, if nothing else.
Yeah. I don't know that you're going to get. You're not going to get a Brian Reynolds caliber, the name that we've been throwing around for months. No. You're not going to get that, but you'll get an everyday player for sure, certainly. And there's such a premium on pitching. Look at the pitcher that the Twins got from the Marlins for Luis Arraez.
Who is batting 390.
It's unbelievable.
399.
Yeah.
He went 3 for 4 yesterday. He's batting 3. Obviously, nobody's hit 400 since Ted Williams. We've got a long way to go. There's only been
I think he needs to be at like 420 right now. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you
because it's going to come down as the year goes on.
I'm not going to name any name. I shouldn't even. Forget it. But there was a time last year where the Guardians were playing the Twins, right? And Luis Arraez was up. And Byron Buxton was on deck. So I guess I am going to tell you the story. I'm just not going to say who else was involved in this. And the Guardians, and I was ripping Francona for not walking Arraez to pitch to Buxton. Okay, I don't remember who the pitcher was. It was a one-run game, and the Guardians had like second and third. And I said, it's a no-brainer, you walk Arraez. And this person, another member of the media, got on me and was like, well, Byron Buxton's the better player. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's got more power.
Yeah.
But Byron Buxton is much more pitchable than Luis Arraez. I'm down 1 run. I'd rather face Buxton, who I could strike. Luis Arraez ain't striking out.
Right.
And there was a little argument on Twitter about this. And once again, Luis Arraez is proving I'm absolutely right because Buxton can't stay on the field. Buxton's a great talent, but he's never been able to stay on the field. And he strikes out way too much. Luis Arraez, if I need a hit, I'll take him over anybody in baseball right now.
Yeah.
He, in the last 20 years, outside of maybe Ichiro, he's as good as just getting a hit at anybody.
It's his bat to ball is incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And while we're talking Twins that play with Royce Lewis down the first base line, that's the downside to the Guardians trying to take shortstops and playing them all over the field.
Right.
Because Gabriel Arias is not a natural first baseman.
He had the wrong leg
was
on the bag.
completely out of position, handled that totally the wrong way, and nearly got Royce Lewis really injured on that.
Yeah. Who's just coming off the injury list.
He's
the whole
constantly
season.
got an injury.
Although even Josh Bell and Josh Naylor, who are first basemen, are not particularly good at the position. Naylor's improved. I'll give him that. But neither one's particularly good.
No, but Arias
at least they're
just totally botched that.
Yeah. Which, what are you going to do? That's not his natural position.
Right.
It's time to play him. I mean, really, Bo Naylor and Arias should be in the lineup every day.
I agree.
I mean, catcher not every day, but almost every day.
Usually by this time, it's already been declared whether you're going to be a contender or a pretender. We haven't heard very much about the Guardians saying whether they're going to unload or go out and get somebody.
The problem is both Central divisions, but we'll talk specifically about the American League Central, are so bad that I would say nobody's out of it. I mean, Kansas City's out of it.
Right.
Because they're just so bad. But even the Guardians, the White Sox, these teams, Guardians are not going to do some sort of sale. They never do a complete overhaul sale. Right. But they're going to do what they did with Bauer and what they did with Clevenger. They're going to buy and sell, I think.
They traded top pitchers while they were in division chases.
Yes.
And they easily could do the same. I mean, they don't have a ton to sell. Where are they going to sell? Shane, Bieber's a sell. But what else?
Right.
What other pieces are there really to
that
sell?
are valuable? Right. Rosario you sell, but he's not worth much.
He's not worth anything. I mean, maybe a reliever, but I don't.
No.
Karinchak doesn't have any value right now.
No, he's pitched better. I'll give him credit.
Yeah,
he's done better lately.
But no team's gonna.
But no, you can't get a haul for Karinchak.
Right.
No.
Right.
You're not getting a haul. No, any guy you could get a haul for is a guy you're not trading. Like Tristan McKenzie, you get a haul for.
Sure.
But you're not trading Tristan McKenzie, obviously. It's time for them to go all in, and that's trading Bieber and trading whatever prospects they need to get a frontline hitter. They need to get a big-time hitter. And even, I like Will Brennan, but if the trade has to include Will Brennan, then so be it.
Yeah.
And maybe he's hot now, he's worth more. I don't know. Like, I need to get an outfielder that can hit me 30 home runs, and I'm not doubting it. Like, that's going to bat 275, that's going to hit 30, that can drive in 100 runs. That's not easy to get.
Well, they got that. The Bauer deal, they got Franmil back when Franmil.
We thought he was going to be good.
He
had that 1 year.
He had that power when they got him.
Yeah.
They got Franmil and they got Puig. So they got 2 bats.
Who's been out of baseball since then.
Yeah, but in the moment.
No, I understand.
And it turned out to be not a great trade.
No.
But in the moment, it looked like a great trade. And it solved some of their right-handed power issues that they had at the time. They got 2 really big bats for that lineup. So it is possible. Not every trade deadline is the same. Not every needs are the same. But you can trade a Bauer, you can trade a Bieber, and get the bat that you're talking about. We'll just have to wait and see.
The tricky thing also right now is there's not a lot of teams out of it. Right? And you traded Kluber. The Kluber thing, that's irrelevant because you're not trading to a team that's out of it. In terms of sellers, like, the only teams that are completely out of it are Oakland and Kansas City, and those teams have nothing to sell.
Yeah.
So
I'm still going to stake my claim to Ramon Laureano. I still think there's
okay,
but you're not going to trade Bieber for Laureano.
No,
but that's an available veteran who is absolutely miserable. I kind of he's like Nick Castellanos when he was in Detroit, where he's just given up and beaten down. Put him in a situation where he has a chance to win, he's going to turn it around.
I don't think he's as good as Castellanos, but okay.
No, but he's a power speed combo guy that I think
he's fine. But I feel like they need a better guy than that.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's certainly not the guy that's going to clear the 40-man logjam that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Bundling these prospects. He's not a guy you're going to do that for. He's just a guy who I think would help this lineup. But I don't know. To your point, I think this is going to be a recurring problem in baseball.
Yeah.
Every year with the second wild card is nobody's really out of it.
Third, there's 3 wild cards. But in this case, it's the division titles. Nobody's out. Of the 10, none of the 10 Central teams are particularly good, and 9 of the 10 are still in it because the division is so bad.
But it feels like every year since the expanded playoffs, we have this conversation.
Yeah.
More teams are in it. Nobody knows. It's like it comes right down until July 25th, 28th before teams realize which direction they want to go.
That leads to more, legit trades, like legit player for legit player trade. And again, I think the Cardinals were a good match. They've got a lot of outfielders that are interesting. And they need pitching. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense.
This is crazy. You know what? I go back, and I would have never thought about this at the time.
What?
2016 Indians, right? You think, okay, they were not known for crazy power, right? Man, I go back and look, and would you die? You would give your left arm to get these numbers. In 2016, Mike Napoli had 34 home runs.
Man, I didn't realize he hit that many home runs.
Kipnis hit 23. Lindor had 15. Jose Ramirez only had 11.
Lindor only had 15?
Only 11 that year.
Wow.
Rajay Davis had 12. Tyler Naquin had 14. Carlos Santana hit 34 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, think about some guys like Naquin and Rajay Davis hit double digits.
Double digits.
How many guys in the Guardians are going to hit double digits this year?
I'm waiting.
Rosario won't. Kwan won't. Straw won't. I don't know if the catching position will unless they call up Naylor, which they will eventually.
That's half the lineup.
Gimenez, he might get there.
No,
he'll get there.
He got 3. He got 3.
And Bell will eventually get there, but they may have 4 spots that don't.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is.
I didn't look at it. You're right. I mean, so Naylor's got 8. He's definitely going to get 10.
Yeah.
Assuming health, obviously.
Right.
Ramirez has 6. He'll get to 10.
Yeah.
Josh Bell has 4. I believe he'll get
it's
to 10.
embarrassing that we're even talking about to get to 10.
I know.
Gimenez has 3, but I think we all believe he'll get to 10. I don't know. I mean, Rosario has 1.
No.
What's Brennan have?
3.
This is crazy.
If he plays every day, he'll get to 10.
I think he'll get to 10 if he plays every day, but not much past it.
Arias has 4.
I mean, the only guys getting to 20 are Naylor and Ramirez. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think Josh Bell's going to hit 20 at this point. He could.
He'd have to go on a tear, which
But
he's capable of.
He's the only other guy that could possibly get the 20.
Yeah.
Oh, the next year, Santana hit 23.
Encarnacion.
Kipnis 12. Lindor hit 33. Ramirez hit 29. Encarnacion hit 38.
Yeah.
Come on. Listen, they had 3-4 dudes in the 30s, Bull.
Right. Yeah.
If we had one dude in the 30s, we'd be flipping, doing backflips.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Naylor's leading the team in homers, and he's on pace for about 22. It's not good.
No.
The Guardians have they're on pace for one of the lowest home run team totals in modern history.
Yeah, it's scary how low it is.
They're barely on pace for 100 home runs, I think, which is crazy. All right, we got a new game that we're going to play, Mike.
We do have a new game, but first it is 12:09, which means we are 9 minutes late to remind the good people out there that the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is sponsored by Colleague Companies Championship Golf, the highest level of golf. PGA Live combination, we're going to find out. Probably not that soon, but they are coming to the famous Firestone Country Club July 12th through the 16th. You can see all your favorite golfers there. Next month, some UCSS people will be there too. There's free concerts. Kids get in for free. Fun, family-friendly events for everybody. And you can learn more at colleaguegolf.com.
By the way, our clocks are completely screwed up now. This clock is like almost a full minute ahead of this one.
What is this one? What does the one in front of you say?
This one says 12:11 exactly.
And what does that one say?
13,
12,
14.
10, and 14. So it's about a 50-second difference between the two.
Random.
We'll work on it.
Random poll the audience. McNuggets, I'll start with you. Did you pack a lunch, or did you eat school lunch?
No, I packed the lunch every day. Except Fridays. Fridays was pizza day.
Pack.
Of course Jason packed the lunch.
No, I bought most days. Not every day,
At the
but
school?
most days. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you? I thought white guys always packed lunch.
You packed lunch?
Of course not. I'm not a white guy.
You listen. You got the
Nobody tell him.
Like, yo, don't tell him like he's not white.
I'm not white.
Of course, I ate the school lunch.
Of course I ate the school lunch. Real men eat school lunch.
Man, I remember it was harsh, man. We went from free lunch to reduced lunch. Hurt my soul.
You know what I used to love? Did they have them here? The Sloppy Joes.
Oh no, you can't have the Sloppy Joes. They had sloppy. Did they have Sloppy Joes?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh.
Monday was hot dogs. Tuesday was some sort of chicken fingers.
School hot dogs were gross.
They were terrible.
Yeah.
I did like the school burgers, though. I remember.
The burgers was Wednesday, and then Friday was the pizza. They used to come in this little carton. But I didn't like how they used to make you drink chocolate milk with everything.
Yeah, I know. I don't
That's
like
disgusting.
Chocolate.
Why would I
don't
do
like
that?
chocolate milk either.
Yeah.
By the way, for school lunch in junior high school, I basically spent middle school. We called it junior high at the time because my school was 7th, 8th, 9th grade. When I was in junior high, I was basically on the detention table for my entire 3 years. And so we would get lunch late, and the lunch ladies like me, they would bring like a bucket of sandwiches to the table. I'd get hooked up for being on the
Bro, I forgot about. I got the detention. They had sentences back then.
Yeah.
Like there's like, bro, the whole half of the year. Yeah, you on detention.
You're on detention.
I got
we would get
one
hooked up.
detention in my entire school year, or my whole. I got one for grabbing a girl's butt in the hallway.
Now look, you could be up. Now
She grabbed mine first.
You know what I'm thinking, Mike.
They would have put you in jail.
You know what
now.
I'm thinking.
Today you'd have been in jail.
Yeah. She grabbed mine first, and I got caught. I got caught. Seventh grade.
You know what? But that's so crazy. Little stuff like that used to happen all the time, and like I keep thinking, like, I don't know where it went. Rap.
Let's move it on.
We got a game.
Yeah.
And this is a game that we kind of teased and alluded to.
I love this game.
Bull knows what's coming, but I told him before the show.
They wouldn't tell me.
I didn't tell you.
I don't know.
Now I'm telling you, if I get even one wrong,
let me explain it. We got the prop bets. The good people on the YouTube chat are gonna vote on the prop bets.
I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is real Major League Baseball player.
I'm gonna suck at this.
Oh
Major League Baseball
Lord,
player.
Jesus,
real or fake?
Real or fake?
Cheater.
So you guys are competing against each other, but you're really competing against yourselves because Bull's in an unfair advantage here. He plays in 38 different fantasy baseball leagues.
I play in one fantasy baseball league.
There are 18 players. Some real, some fake. And here are the prop bets that I called my good friends in Vegas to set. Bull, 17.5. Expecting
That's fair.
to go
I should
perfect.
have to get them all right.
G. Bush, there's 18. People think if you go 50%, you'll hit the over. And Jason, 11.5. These are the Vegas prop bets.
I'll get the American League guys.
Take the under. Take the under for G. Bush. I'm telling you right now, Chad, I ain't got nothing for you.
I'll get the American League guys. I'm not so sure about the National League
to
guys.
Mike that you do American League fantasy.
Yeah.
I will know every player, and if I don't, you could rip me off.
Double down and put that I won't know one.
No, get out of here.
Go ahead.
I mean,
it's a 50% chance. Gee, if you go over 18.
List, by the way, who picked these guys?
So shout out to my friends Taylor Travis and David Waxman.
Yeah.
Who are my friends from Texas who love baseball.
They picked random dudes, not any famous guys.
You'll see. These are just guys.
I will criticize the list if it's too easy.
Now, I have not paid that close of attention this year.
Okay.
So this could be
There's some real, there's some fake.
Okay.
And either way, we're gonna have fun. Bull, the people are spoken. They expect you to go 18-0.
I will.
So
I promise.
Shout out Taylor. Shout out Wax for the help on this one.
Okay.
And with that, Steve, let's take the first one. Real or fake? Julian Merriweather. Bull, do not turn your thing around.
I won't.
That sounds like the only token black guy. I'm gonna go with. This is a real dude.
By the way, not only will I tell you if it's real or fake, I should be able to tell you the position and the team for every guy.
We have the team with the players.
Okay.
G says real. Bull says real. Jason says real. Three reals.
He is
and
real.
3.
It was an easy one for me in particular.
Correct
He's a relief
answer.
pitcher.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And he's not even black.
Former Guardian. Played for the Guardian. Came up with
Briefly.
the farm system.
Briefly, yeah.
Next up,
Let's go.
number 2,
Let's go.
Buck Farmer.
That's BS. Your name can't be Buck Farmer. Is this really a dude? This is crazy. Look, come on, man. I don't like that.
G says fake.
False.
Jason says real. Bull says real. And the answer,
He's a relief pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds.
2 for 2, Bull.
Buck
That is
Farmer.
real.
Hey, he does
Sounds
look
like a porn star, though.
It does. It does look like he looks like a Buck Farmer, though.
He does look like a buck farmer.
Yeah, he does.
It's the beard.
Yep.
Big red beard.
Well,
Number 3, G Bush, you ready?
yeah.
How about Gunnar Henderson? Real or fake?
He sounds like a pitcher, man. Gunnar has got to be a third baseman or a pitcher. Come on, man. It's real, right?
That's too easy.
It is real.
That's inappropriate.
It is
He's
real.
the third baseman for the Orioles.
Hey, I got even third baseman right.
G
Let's
even got
go.
the position.
Let's go.
That one was too easy. Guys,
Let's go.
They get harder, don't worry.
Okay.
We start easy, we get harder.
I'm just
yes.
glad I got 3.
Number 4,
Gee, doing pretty well.
Connor Joe.
I don't know no Connor Joe. I know Conor McGregor.
G says false. Jason says
He's real.
real. Bull says real, and he is real.
Okay, hold on a second, because I may not remember what I know he's a utility man. He's a hitter.
Yeah.
I think I forgot what team he's on.
I ain't
It's
heard.
not the exercise, but I'll. Pirates.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Outfielder
okay.
for the Pirates.
Oh, I thought he was an infielder.
He's a utility man.
Utility
He looks
guy,
like
yeah.
he looked like a creative player. That's MLB The Show. Like that is crazy. Like he don't even look like no Connor Joe.
Jason, you're 4 for 4. Well,
With
G's
3
two-
National League guys.
G's 2 for 4.
2 for 4.
2 National League guys.
He's on pace.
50%.
He's on pace.
I'm on pace.
Next up, Zach Short.
Jesus.
I don't know this one.
Try not to give anything away with my facial expressions.
G says false.
Go ahead,
Jason, turn it towards us. Fake. Jason says fake.
He's real.
And Bull, what team?
He's a utility infielder for the Detroit Tigers.
Oh, I should know.
That is absolutely correct.
Bro, you
He originally came up with the Cubs.
I should miss
Hey,
it.
Bull, I'm starting to believe you got a doppelganger or a stunt double. You cannot be married or have children knowing the utility players for the Detroit Tigers.
Why do you think I stopped at one kid?
Are you serious? The utility guy? He's named 2 utility dudes. Guys that don't play, that's what utility means. You see me every third week, and this guy's like, yep, utility guy plays third base, fourth base, sixth base, and his WAR was 9,000. What?
All right, number 6. You ready? For Kyle Garlick.
I don't like how his last name's spelled. I don't like that.
It makes me hungry seeing that name.
Bro, I'm gonna just
Garlic makes you hungry?
Listen, I know Garlic
Love
Jr.,
garlic.
but that was a Dragon Ball Z saga. I know from Mr. Garlic Jr. here. False. I don't know you.
He's real. In fact, he just got recalled to the majors by the Minnesota Twins. He's an outfielder.
Nailed it. Kyle
Formerly of the
Garlic.
Dodgers.
This is crazy. How many I got to get before I get to 8.5? I got 2 so far.
3 and 5 right now, right?
G, you have 2 so far. Bull has 6, and Jason has 5.
Jason's doing very well.
He should. He's a baseball writer of America.
All right. Number 7. You ready?
No, I don't care if this is a real person or not. It's fake. I don't care if it is. No, I'm not going to call nobody Bill Tall. Pause. That he has a pause-worthy name.
I hope Dick Pole is on this list.
Dick Pole.
You're not going
Dick Pole is a real, well, was a real player.
He's not going. Y'all not going to play me. Y'all not going to play me on Bill Tall.
What you got?
This is unacceptable.
He's fake.
Thank you.
He is fake.
You weren't about
Bill
to hit
Tall.
me with that.
That was a bad fake one. Come on.
Listen, Zach Short was real, so I thought
I know,
after
but you
getting
can't-
Zach Short, maybe
After Zach
Bill
Short,
Tall.
you can't go with Bill Tall.
Bill Tall.
You should have used like a Latin name, like
ML
Andujar Tall.
MLB
Tall,
the
you know.
show. I got 3. I need 5 more. Not to embarrass. Let's go.
All right, next up. How about Will Vest?
Now you go with Bill Tall and Will Vest. If this is a dude, this is
His brother is
this
Tim
is a
Shirt.
government informant. This is crazy, but hey, shout out. I'm not going for it. It's a 2-syllable word. No, false. You're not a person, and if you are, who cares? You're not about to get me. Will
G
Vest.
says false. Jason says real.
He's
Bull-
real. He's
This
a,
guy's a real
he's a
dude.
relief pitcher for the Tigers.
Bro, you need to change your name, Will Vest. Like, this is crazy. These dudes got, like, oh my gosh. These are Jason Bourne's friends, bro. Bourne Legacy. Will Vest.
Jay Crawford got that one wrong.
How many have we done now?
That is 8.
That's 8.
All right.
I still got,
I'm at 7.
10 more? I got to get
Jason's on pace for the over. G's on pace for the under. Bull is still perfect at 8 for 8.
Will Vest.
All right, number 9. G. Bush, is Griffin Jacks real or fake?
Only Jax I know is from Mortal Kombat with Iron Arms. This is David Griffin and Jax mixed. Griffin Jax.
Jax, did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
Yes.
Jax. wasn't
Jax, yeah. Listen, he went out like a G with arms wide open.
it? By the way, did you know Theo Huxtable was in some episodes of
Yes, he
Sons of
was.
Anarchy? Yeah.
We
He's a
need to talk
director
about
now.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, he's a director.
G. Bush said real. Everyone says real.
He's a
The
relief
answer.
pitcher for the Twins who just played the Guardians.
Well, I threw some curveballs in there. Griffin Jacks is very real. G. Bush, way to go. You are 4
I feel
for
like
9.
there's been a lot of AL Central ones.
Lot of them.
Not appropriate.
A lot of random guys. All right, not an AL Central guy. Maybe not a real guy next. How about Cutter Crawford?
Slim Cutter Calhoun. Ha!
3 reals?
He's real. He's a pitcher for the Red Sox. He's making a spot start. Although he's been a bullpenner. Making a spot start I think today or tomorrow.
It tickles me because this dude is watching these games with his heart so into him. You can't tell me. How do you know Slim Cutter Calhoun is a utility spot pitcher that's coming in at the 6th inning? What are you doing?
Just insane.
The most impressive part of Bull is he watches every TV show.
Thank you.
Every baseball player. He's in 15 fantasy football drafts that are literally nonstop, and he coaches his little league kid team. He deals with his wife's medical issues.
What
He's
time do
always
you go
there.
to sleep?
He's a great little league coach. He's a great dad. I don't think he sleeps. Like, the only explanation is he just doesn't sleep.
I don't know. I sleep. I sleep all right. I get up early. I'm up by 6 most days.
All right,
Get it going again.
we got a bunch more. G. Bush, but what about Rob Refsnyder? Real or fake?
Listen, he's gonna say Ref Snyder. Here's the thing. I have never heard of Ref Snyder and I've never seen it spelled that way. It's like a ref and then Schneider's potato chips. I don't know. But he sounds like a catcher in the Dodgers organization. Man, I don't know. You're not a real guy. I don't like your name.
Jason says real. Bull says real.
He's
the answer.
He's a utility man for the Red Sox. In fact, he just signed a contract extension this week.
He doesn't even look like his name's Ref Schneider.
No.
There's no way that man is a Ref Schneider.
Signed a 2-year extension.
I like G's explanations of thinking through.
I love it.
He's a ref and
the
a
most
potato
fun part
chip.
of the segment.
Could a referee potato chip exist in the modern day
That's
century?
crazy, dog. Like, these guys, this is why, you know what? I don't like that, bro.
All right, next up,
These MLB guys.
Mike Ford.
Mike Ford
Not
was
to be confused with Bruce Chevy.
Mike Ford was a running back, though. Like, he was a running back, like a free agent running back. Man, this is false, man. I don't know. Mike Ford. I know Tom Ford. False.
G false.
He's
Two
real.
reals. And Jason's killing it.
And I can't. He'd been in the minors all season. He's a guy, a journeyman. He
Where's
just
he now?
got called up, and I might not be able to remember who called him up.
Where's he now, Bull?
He was going to opt out of his minor league contract if they hadn't called him up, so they just called him up this week.
He's shaped like me.
He's a big dude. He used to be on the Mariners.
He used to be on the Yankees.
He
used
played
to
for
be
the
on the Yankees.
He played for the Carolina Catfish.
I think he's on. I could be wrong about this. I think he's on the Giants.
He's on the Mariners right now.
Oh, wasn't he still the Mariners? I got the team wrong.
Still the Mariners.
This is insane.
I thought he'd gone to another team. I just said the Mariners.
Chat, man.
I
Chat,
thought he'd been to a different team.
Chat, this is so corny.
All right,
These
at least-
people don't exist, bro.
At least I got a team wrong there.
All right,
First
next
team
up.
wrong.
G. Bush, is Jake Bird real or fake?
Oh, listen, that sounds like Larry Bird's cousin.
Yankees used to have a first baseman named Greg Bird. Remember him?
The Indians used to have a pitcher, Paul Bird.
Yeah, but it was spelled B-Y-R.
I know. Jake Bird is, listen, only Bird I know is Big Bird. False. He's not a real guy.
That's
Jason
real. He's a
says
relief
fake?
pitcher for the Colorado Rockies.
I didn't know
Jason
that one.
got one wrong. I still think, is Jason already hit his over?
What?
It was 11. Jason has 11 right now, so
Can
Jason
you
gets
give
one
me?
more.
Can you give me Ford?
I'm still annoyed that I got Ford's team wrong.
Give me that picture again.
Jake Bird?
We have 5
Bird.
more, by the way.
Is that Bird?
That is
Yeah,
Jake
he
Bird.
got. That's that.
I promise you, I'm not going to know. Well, I'll know some.
He has a
nationally relievers.
Unabomber mustache.
Yeah.
That was the only picture on Google.
Yeah,
Images
he's
I could find of
definitely
it.
living a cabin.
He's a
in
rookie this
Montana.
year. He's actually pitched pretty well, if I remember correctly.
He is pitching pretty well, and everyone who has been real is an active player this year, by the way.
Yes. Mike Ford just got called up, and it's going to drive me nuts that I forgot he was still on the Mariners.
All right, we have 5 more.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Cesar Salazar.
Yep, he's real. If you say it, you say Cesar Salad Bar. He's real.
What do you got?
I don't know this one.
With confidence.
I don't know this one.
Okay,
I'm
now here's the
guessing.
flaw in the ointment with Cesar Salazar. He is real. However, he was just optioned to the minors yesterday by the Houston Astros. He was their 3rd catcher, and he got sent down because they called up Gray Kessinger as an extra infielder. Look it up. That's all correct.
They also, my buddies who did a lot of these, suggested Kessinger as a guy.
He
So-
just got called up yesterday in place of Cesar Salazar. So technically, Salazar is not a major leaguer right now, but he is real.
That's the first
Well,
one I
it was,
guessed
it was
on.
active this year.
I'll take that. What do I got
Jason,
now?
you officially hit the over. Congratulations, Jason. You
You
officially
mean-
Finally, a
beat
game
the
I
Vegas
can.
props.
Me too? Did I hit the?
G has 6 so far, G. You need to go 3 or 4
Hey, bro,
on the last
that's
four.
a tall tale.
All right, next up,
Nah.
Stuart Fairchild.
Oh, that sounds like a trust fund baby.
It does. Sounds like a douchey rich kid.
Yeah, like he wears, like he's definitely.
And when we're done with this, I have to read Tyvis's text on air for the people, just so you guys know.
I'm gonna go with real. Sounds like a relief
He
pitcher.
is real. He's an outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds.
Great pool. Yeah, it looks like a fair shot. Like these guys.
G got it right. Two away,
let's go.
G.
Let's go.
2 away.
Let's go. Silent assassin. Even though I'm talking.
Next up, 3 left. Chuck Schnaps. Real or fake?
Like, you could pronounce that schnapps.
Schnapps, like the drink.
Peach.
I don't know if it's spelled the same way.
Shucks. I feel like that's a real dude. I feel like he's a second baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays.
G. Bush says real. The other 2 say fake. Chuck Schnaps.
There's no player named
Chuck Schnaps. Chuck Schnaps models his game after Chuck Knobloch. Schnaps.
G, you got to get the last
G
2.
has to go 2 for 2.
This is crazy.
And I got to
Hit
go
the
2
over.
for 2.
And Bull has to go 2 for 2.
All right, here we go.
2 left.
Let's lock in.
Take it, Steve.
Let's lock in.
Renee Pinto.
Oh my God! Why would you say that? No. Renee Pinto.
He's a. Oh.
Renee Pinto. This is either a cruel joke or like listen. I've already made in my mind. I'm gonna say what?
Joaquin Cadillac.
I'm gonna make my mind up. I'm gonna say real on this one. Here we go. Real. No one's name can actually be that fake. Renee Pinto.
It's real.
It is
Let's
real.
go.
He's a catcher, and I can't.
Let's go.
You didn't even give me a chance to say.
Steve jumped the gun.
I had to think
Jumped the
about what
gun.
team he was on.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
So it comes down to this, G.
Yeah.
If you get the last one right, you hit the over.
I
If you
should-
do not,
if-
shout out to me, aka Vegas, for setting the line nearly perfect.
That's crazy.
Where's Jason on his line? I know we
many
went over,
Jason
but
have?
is he far over? He's far
Jason's way over. Yeah, Jason way over.
A
He
lot
has
of
14 already.
What's funny is I actually thought this list could have been harder. It was good.
It was good.
It was good.
I mean, we didn't
I
want
can't
to
believe. I think I missed 2 American League guys, which is really embarrassing.
It actually was good. No, I'm being unfair. It was really good. The only complaint about the list is the fake name seemed so fake. Maybe to me. I don't know.
We got Chuck Schnaps. We got him.
Chuck Schnaps. True, you got the
Yeah,
Chuck
right,
Schnaps.
right.
Last one, though.
Okay, this is it for all the marbles.
For all the marbles, G. Thaddeus Ward.
Now that sounds like a rich douchebag too, doesn't it?
No, it actually sounds. It
He
actually
sounds like he went to school with Stuart Fairchild.
Yeah, he actually sounds like a undersized combo guard. Thaddeus
Nah,
Ward.
It was a good list. I reassessed. I think you guys
And
did
this
good.
is for all the money. Thaddeus Ward.
For all the marbles.
Wasn't that a Browns quarterback?
Thad Lewis.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get
But
his
this
head.
cat.
Is he an auto mechanic?
Thaddeus
he an
Ward.
Is he an
MLB The Show
outfielder, an
character?
infielder?
I'm gonna go with real.
Jason, what do you got?
Real.
And they aren't correct. G. Bush got his
Yeah.
And
Let's-
G. Bush
That
overhit.
is relief pitcher, Washington Nationals.
That's what I'm talking about.
And the over hits G. Bush with the final score. Bull, you went 18 of 18. Congratulations.
You could give 500. I get.
I'm gonna
them all right.
I'm gonna ask my buddies to come up with the most difficult ones they humanly could.
There's
Hey.
nobody. If you got me on one, you give me 500. I don't
Hey.
think I'd get any wrong.
Chat, we
now
did it.
there would be a couple of guys. Maybe I couldn't think of the team because I couldn't. I said my 4 was the Mariners,
Hey.
and then I switched
Hey.
and said he went to the Giants. I was
Chat,
wrong about that, but
we did that, man. Yo, you put your money on me, man. I got the most money. That was a 8-to-1 odd.
it's a pretty useless thing.
That's
to,
a lot
to be
of money.
great at.
That's great, bro.
Yeah.
That's great.
So what'd you
Let's
get?
that.
9? Did you get 9?
Yeah.
Got
You
exactly
got 9.
You got
Jason
9.
did pretty,
60%.
really well. What did you get?
Jason got
15, I think.
15
He
to
blew,
18.
he blew his out.
He did. He was way over. The other 2 pretty spot on. Okay, we're gonna talk some basketball in a second. But I want to read you guys word for word, and this for the audience.
Yeah.
Text from Tyvis. He
What would
is in
Tyvus's
tomorrow.
line been? 3.5.
About that. If you guys haven't been excited, if you haven't liked the show so far, I promise you will like the show after these texts. And he's on tomorrow. He will give us a full recap in
Is
person.
this Tyvus saying he's going to Mars or something?
That one I'm not going to read. This is from Tyvis, who is at Browns practice.
Yeah. Oh.
The offense lock the F in today, 4 exclamation points. Deshaun looks even better than Brady right now, and I'm not over-exaggerating. They ain't playing fair. They got Miles, Tomlinson, Zadarius, and Obo on the D-line. That shit nasty. I'm going to read that again. Deshaun looked better than Brady right now, and I am not over-exaggerating.
No,
from Tyvis
he's
Powell.
exactly over-exaggerating.
We're going to put this on a quote board tomorrow, but I want to read it one more time.
Of
Wait, I want to read it one more time so there's no exaggeration or no confusion.
Yeah.
Deshaun look better than Brady right now, and I'm not over-exaggerating. That is from Tyvis Powell, who is at Berea, in Berea right now for training camp.
Do we want to do some reaction for the fans on that game?
Yeah.
Any interesting comments or no?
I mean, I wasn't looking at it as we were going through. They were playing along and guessing along with a lot of them.
A lot of them now.
Yeah, I mean, they were. These aren't all active. Marcus, I don't know if this is active or not. Marcus Unio, UOENO.
What? Are you asking me if this is
I'm
a real
asking.
player?
Yeah, these are just. I don't know if these are real name suggestions. I can't go back. And
what's
read
the
all
last?
these.
There's no player.
UOENO.
UOENO. That's a fake player.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
No
The chat seemed to like it though. They were laughing. They were laughing at it. They were playing along. There's some good football names, some good college names we can do that with. So maybe we'll continue to do fake or real as we go on.
We're gonna let that.
I mean, in football, the rosters are even bigger.
Yeah,
so
that would be really hard.
There's really more obscure players.
Yeah, but we're all more locked into football though.
But are you going to know the last 10 guys on the bench in these NFC teams? Like, who knows those guys?
Hey, Jason, you gonna let him get away with that Tom Brady comment?
I mean,
you gonna let him get that Tom Brady off?
It's Tyvis being Tyvis.
He's already proved half of my headline right, so I'll let it go.
He said.
And by the way, what could defensive linemen be showing in an OTA?
I don't know. What are they doing? Like, are they doing karate moves, or are they just leaving their feet on dudes? Like,
everybody was kung fu fighting.
Like, what do you? Exactly. What are they doing up front that's blowing Tyvis's mind?
I don't know.
Damn. Tyvis got the hype machine.
All right, well, that was fun. Tyvis is here tomorrow. He will give us the full explanation. But while we have Jason here, there are certain topics with certain people on the panel that is just the best to get to. Mm-hmm. And we talked about it in overtime yesterday, but the report came out, and you can take tag board full.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go.
That Kyrie Irving wants the Mavericks to explore a potential trade and/or avenue to acquire LeBron James and make a big three in Dallas with Luka Doncic. We spoke on the show yesterday in overtime about the ridiculousness of that nature, considering the Mavericks have nothing to trade without trading Luka Doncic for LeBron. Also, Kyrie's a free agent and not currently a member of the Mavericks. So,
isn't it interesting that both teams in the NBA Finals have one superstar?
Jamal Murray's really freaking good.
Is he a top 30 player in the NBA?
Playoff Murray is, yes. Also, I forgot to mention, Jason, before you said anything, that last segment was brought to us by PCC Airfoils. It was brought to us by what the internet is saying, and these names came from the internet, and that's a bad job out of me. But we still love PCC Airfoils, and if you need a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, check them out at PCC Airfoils. You can learn more at precast.com. Full benefit packages, paid time off. Check them out, PCC.
I'm just sick of these old players that want to change teams every 2 seconds. I'm done with it. You know, I like Jimmy Butler. I like Giannis.
Jimmy Butler's been
Are you going to like Giannis when he leaves Milwaukee?
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler hasn't forced his way out of teams, has
he? Yes, he basically.
Yes, he has.
He sabotaged the Minnesota Timberwolves practice and demanded to be sent away immediately.
He sabotaged it. He literally sabotaged it more than anyone else, and I don't blame him for that. But he did it to an extent that no one else ever went to.
Didn't he?
No, he had no parts of it being in Philly. He's like, get me out of here too.
You sure about that?
He want no parts of being there. They signed Tobias.
No, he wanted to be. He was mad that they signed Tobias Harris.
Right, because they couldn't sign him once they signed Tobias Harris, which was a stupid move by Philadelphia.
Fact. Very stupid. Terrible to say.
Anyway, I still like Jimmy Butler. I don't know.
I like Butler.
I don't know. I'm done with Kyrie. I'm done with all those old guys. I'm done with Durant and Westbrook and
LeBron. You done with that old guy?
Except for LeBron, even though he's a nudnik like the rest of them. I'm done with all of them except for LeBron. Can't stand Durant. I don't like Westbrook. I don't like all these old guys. You know what? I've grown to like Steph Curry. At least he stays on the freaking team.
Why would he leave? Look at the team around him.
Kevin Durant left.
He had Kevin Durant listens to too many people, and he had to go.
I'm just sick of that crap.
Kevin's got to win a title away from them.
Give me more Giannis's. Give me more Jokic's, and maybe they'll be a pain in the ass in a couple of years. I don't know.
Giannis will not retire in Milwaukee. I'll tell you that right now. That's not happening. He's leaving.
All right, so back to the topic at hand.
Sorry.
Kyrie, LeBron, Dallas.
How is he recruiting to Dallas? He's a free agent.
This is the dumbest thing
This
I've ever
makes
heard.
my head hurt. Kyrie makes my head hurt. Kyrie should be going to L.A. He shouldn't be trying to get more people to Dallas. I was a little surprised by this, only because it's not like he has any great affiliation to Dallas or any great alliance to Dallas. He just got traded there a couple months ago. He must really like Mark Cuban or the situation. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm sure LeBron cackled at him and hung up. No, not really, but this is not happening. This is not real life.
I want Kyrie to go to the Lakers, and I want them to fail miserably.
Well,
I hope that happens.
you may get your wish. I still think Kyrie. I think LA is a perfect fit for Kyrie. We talked about that on the show a couple weeks ago.
So what is this? What is he doing here with this?
Staying relevant.
Last week he whined about people talking about him. Now he's putting this out.
If you're asking me to tell you what's going on in Kyrie's head and what his motives are, I got no answer for you, because he is his own dude and he does it his own way. But there's no logical path for that to even happen. I don't know why LeBron would go to Dallas. We talked when his last year in Cleveland, when I kind of it was over, and we had a conversation. It's funny, we were actually in Dallas when we had this conversation about how many is too many teams to play for. And he said when Michael left Chicago, that's when he realized there is no such thing as like one team and loyalty and all that. Like he said, I could never imagine Michael being on any other team but the Bulls. And when Michael showed up in a Wizards uniform, that changed everything.
That's not the same as what he's done, though.
But well,
that's silly.
But
I
mean, at the time he was only on 2, going to 3. And he said there does come a point where it's too much, where you don't want to bounce around. And he didn't say this. I'm saying this. Someone like Shaq, like how many teams did he play for at the end? And I do think that it does water down your legacy a little bit when you bounce too much. I don't see I think LeBron finishes his career in LA or Cleveland. I don't think there's any other stops anywhere else. And Dallas just doesn't make any sense for multiple reasons. Mavericks don't have the assets to acquire him. Jeannie Buss has been on record saying if she was ever given another talent like Magic and Kobe, she would never lose him. She would do everything she could to keep him. She's certainly not going to trade LeBron to Dallas. It's nonsense. It's typical Kyrie nonsense.
See, this is more than anything, and I don't know who said this. I was listening to some podcast, and there happened to be a rap podcast, and some guy said, when you're an NBA player and you get a check, do they get paid bi-weekly or monthly or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's every 2 weeks.
So every 2 weeks they get a check.
I think.
And he's saying like, every 2 weeks you get a check and you getting 800, 900, $1 million every 2 weeks. He's like, at the end of the day, you don't care about a lot of other stuff. It desensitizes you to a point where it's like, okay, so I shot 0 for 10. I still got a direct deposit for $1.2 million.
Yeah, right.
And so after a while, you just become addicted to the flair. You become addicted to the life. And more than anything, if you watch, Kyrie Irving has done things traditionally in the last few years of his career. Like him not getting vaccinated, he acted like it was some great stand. Kyrie don't care about that. He was being contrarian at that point. He's like, hey, everybody else is getting a vaccine. I refuse to. You know what? And by the way, I only want to play on away games. Oh, I want to be here, but I don't want to be here. James Harden could leave, but now I don't and do. But I want a max deal too. He does this stuff to like stay relevant, viable. Like he does these things and then we talk about it, but he knows good and well they ain't got no money, no cap space. And I don't even know as a basketball fit would it work. I mean, come on. Last time I checked, Luka got the ball every play. All plays. Last time I checked, LeBron has the ball all the time. Like I don't even know if from a basketball standpoint if it would work. It would be interesting, but yeah, I think he's just talking. It's just Kyrie. That's it. That's all.
Kyrie's a clown. It's a shame because he's a great player, but he distracts from it with all his nonsense off the field, and all the injuries. Not obviously that's not completely his fault, but
I would be anxious to see how he would have been perceived if he would have just stayed here and played his whole career in Cleveland.
Oh man, and not been acted stupid off the field.
He would be beloved. But that was, I mean, people around him were telling me his second year they had to get him out of Cleveland. His second year, before the second year, before the second season.
But
if they're not going to take winning seriously, we have to get him out of there.
Well, he doesn't take winning seriously, does he?
Well, I'm just telling you, going into the second year, that's people.
So was Deion Waiters that bad, or was it?
Him and Deion, that was never going to. Deion didn't understand why everyone thought Kyrie was better than him, because Deion thought he was better than Kyrie. And Deion had the alpha mentality and didn't understand why everyone deferred to Kyrie. That was a disaster. They truly did not like
what happened. Like he just was out of basketball.
He got a big contract.
Right?
He got paid, and now he's out now. He's out of basketball now.
But he didn't play that long.
He was a difficult.
Yeah.
When they traded him, I remember talking to someone in the organization and said, like, if JR F's up, he's going to F up off the court. Deion was F'ing us up on the court. And that was really why he had a very ball dominant style. And it was so weird because at Syracuse he actually was a willing passer and could facilitate, but he was just real ball dominant in the NBA
I heard
at times.
an interesting comment from Brian. I was listening to Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrini's show this morning, and they were taught. Some caller called and asked, "How do the Heat get so many open shots?" And he said the reason they get so many open shots is because they're the most patient team in the NBA. That even though 24 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, it is. And that they continuously move the ball until they get that that open shot.
That's a good point.
And even in the playoffs, even against another well-coached team in Denver, that eventually, as the clock runs down, the team gets lazy defensively, and that's when the open shot happens.
It's sort of like in the NFL. If a quarterback can hold the ball long enough, somebody's going to get open.
Exactly. And so the Heat just have this ability to be patient because they're so well coached and so disciplined.
But it also
that other teams don't do that.
And also, you got to get into your sets earlier. Like a lot of teams are slow bringing the ball up the court, and by the time you get into your set, there's 10 seconds left on the clock.
I hate that. I hate when Darius Garland do that.
Oh, drives you nuts. He made the point that most other teams, like when the Heat, you'll see somebody drive to the basket and then it's not open, so they kick it back out. And that might happen multiple times on a possession. He said that a lot of players feel like if they have to pass once they've made their move to the basket, that they failed. And so they don't want to pass. And the guy played in the league, so he's really good.
I think he's really good.
He's a great analyst.
Yeah, I think he's great.
And it was something that those two things I had never really thought about before. And I was like, wow, that's really fascinating.
And the most devastating part about it is if you got a mentality where you're going to keep passing the ball, and then they got a front office that seems to find these guys that can shoot.
Right.
And these guys
are hard workers. And all their guys are hard, like blue-collar guys.
And they're late-round picks. Yeah. They don't they don't get lottery picks. It's crazy, man.
And the patience and the coaching, I mean, that's the great equalizer, right? Because even the worst player in the NBA is a great shooter with nobody on.
It'd be open.
Yeah. And so
I watched Jared Allen shoot threes after Cavs practices.
Money.
I mean, in practice, you could see the worst. Robin Lopez can probably hit 3 after 3 after 3. Or is it which Lopez do we have? Robin,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's videos of Dwight Howard making like 23 or 25 threes.
But those guys were good players at one point. So if you leave guys wide open, they're going to make shots.
If the Heat, and this is hypothetical, if the Heat do win, what is the unintended consequences around the league? What will executives?
I think it could be good for the NBA.
What would the executives look at it and be like?
I don't know.
The Heat just won.
I don't know that Miami really followed the load management. I'd have to go back and look. I didn't pay that close attention during the season.
Are you saying it'll be bad for that reason?
No, it wouldn't be bad for the league, but I think Miami's such an anomaly. And Jason, I'm curious what you think.
Well, that's maybe it.
They're such an anomaly, and they didn't try in the regular season. I mean, this team was way too talented to finish as an 8 seed.
Right.
They finished 27th in the league in threes, which is the antithesis of where the league has gone. They've gotten supernova hot in the playoffs. They have a bunch of undrafted guys who play really well together. Spoelstra's the X factor. But I don't think it's like.
But McNuggets, it's 7-game series.
Yeah.
Is the hardest thing. You might win a couple games, but it's hard to win.
But you can't just go from being the third worst shooting team in the league to the best shooting team in the league.
But even Denver, Mike, which was good in the regular, you look at these teams. They're both teams. It's not as good as Jokic is. It's not about Jokic, because and this last game when they lost, he scored a lot of points and actually had, I think, a season low in assists, which was obviously very unusual for him.
Yeah, but it's because no one made shots, not because he wasn't passing.
These teams are really good right now because they have great team chemistry, and they're a very unselfish team.
I think if Miami wins, it's bad for the league because it proves that load management works.
From that perspective. But what about the perspective of, we don't have to put together a super team to win. We just need a team that plays with a lot of great chemistry.
Sure, but what's more important to me is they already don't take the regular season seriously.
Right.
Now teams are going to hold it up and say, here's proof.
Right.
An 8 seed just won a championship.
Right. Meanwhile, Adam Silver wants to add more regular season games with this stupid tournament.
Yeah, he's a big soccer fan. I hate some
relegation.
of the stuff.
We'll get to that. That's the best part.
I love it.
I hate some of the stuff that's going on with that. But yeah, I think it's bad if Miami wins.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm actually with Jason.
But what they do in soccer is they play on national teams. Like, that would make more sense. Like, if you're going to have a tournament in the NBA, how about you have guys play with their college teammates?
Mix it up.
Right. Instead of having we just had a game with the Heat and the Nuggets, and now another game with the Heat and Nuggets that counts for something else, but it's the same players.
Well, how do you do? I mean, there's some schools that'll have one guy. Who's John Morant going to play for if he's ever eligible?
Come up with something,
Yeah.
Or regions.
Have one international team, one Northeast team, one Midwest team. I mean,
I think that gets pretty gimmicky at that point.
I don't think they should do any of it, but if they're going to do something, at least change it up. All right, Mike.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone real quick that on July 12th through the 16th, the Call It Companies Championship is coming to the famous Firestone Country Club in the beautiful state of Ohio. You can check out all your favorite golfers down at Firestone Country Club, callinggolf.com for all the information. We got 9 minutes left. I want to end with this, and you just alluded to it, Bull.
Yeah.
The English Premier League and in a lot of European soccer leagues, they use relegation, which essentially is the bottom couple teams in the league get demoted,
in
the
Europe,
top couple teams get promoted.
In the English Soccer League, there is, I want to say, 5 or 6 levels, much like a minor league system, except that all the teams are, unlike baseball where you have a minor league system, all the teams are independently owned. Now, in baseball, a lot of those teams are independently owned. However, the players on those minor league teams are members of the major league organization. Whereas in soccer, all those English soccer teams are, the players are a member of that team. They're not part of, whatever team is in the Premier League. The bottom 3 teams every year get relegated to the league below. By the way, there's no playoffs in I don't know about all levels of soccer, but in
the Premier League.
In the Premier League, and if you watch Ted Lasso, you know this, there's no playoffs.
What you mean?
They don't play playoffs. Whoever finishes with the best record is the champion.
Yep.
That's it. And the bottom 3 teams, if you finish in the bottom 3 spots in the Premier League, you get sent down to the league below.
For how long?
Until you win.
Until you finish the league. What is it? I don't know if it's
I think it's 3 for each.
Teams
top 3 go up, 3 go down
every year.
So you would just play worse teams, like with smaller venues, or like
in theory, yeah, you make less money in the lower league,
and you make a lot less. That's the real issue. It's not who you playing, but you go from being making an MLB TV deal to a Columbus Clippers AAA deal. Imagine the Guardians having to pay their payroll.
Now,
but getting money.
This
from the
would
Clippers.
be obviously this is never going to happen in American sports, but it would be great in baseball in particular, because it's a sport where there's the biggest payroll disparity, and there's no excuse for the payroll disparity. Many baseball writers carry the water for the baseball owners, make the excuse that they can't afford to spend more. If they truly can't, they should get out.
That is the biggest. I think that's the biggest case of if you say something long enough.
Yes.
And long and hard enough.
Yeah.
It'll just stick.
Now, again, nobody's saying that the Guardians could reasonably have the same payroll as the Yankees. I don't think anybody's arguing that. But it's reasonable to argue they could have a lot higher payroll than they do right now.
Facts.
So there's a difference there. However, if you knew that you fit, like the Oakland A's had no interest in trying to win this year.
Yeah.
None. They cannot possibly win with the roster they have. If they knew that by doing this, they would be sent down to AAA, they wouldn't have done that. And so on and so forth. It would make baseball great. It would never happen.
I think it fits best in the NBA because that's where the most teams tank. Tanking is pervasive in the NBA, and it's an issue that they've been battling for years and years, trying to fix it. Well, this is how you fix it. You send Charlotte to the G League if they're one of the bottom 3 teams. You send New Orleans to the G League. Like that. Oh, yeah. That's how you fix tanking.
Do they still get the first pick?
Not if you're not in that division.
Right.
Not if you're not in the
out.
NBA.
Bottom 3 teams are out. No draft picks.
So then you would end up with like the 6th seed. The 6th seed we get to
now. It's interesting because like in soccer, I don't think there's a draft in European soccer. I think you just sign players.
You just sign players when they're 9 years old. 10 years old.
Right. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Back a few years ago, the NBA was really looking into tanking, and they were talking about abolishing the lottery and just rotating the first pick every year. So 30 years, you'd have to wait 30 years for the number 1 pick.
Oh,
and
wow.
regardless of where you it
wow.
was wild. I remember there was an article on it. I don't remember the details, but like this year, the Cavs draft number 1, whether you win the championship or you have the worst record.
And the
in the
same
league.
for every other spot.
And it just rotates. Yeah, it just shifts in a big clock circle. It was wild, and the NBA was. I don't know if the NBA was exploring that. I just remember that was an article that was out at the time. But the NBA was really looking into ways to try and curb tanking, and they came up with a stupid plan that I hate and think it's dumb.
Yeah.
But relegation that'll do it.
Oh yeah, baseball now has a lottery too for their draft. Did you know that?
Really?
They just started in the last year or two.
No, I don't think I realized that.
And why is the baseball draft not big?
Because you don't know them.
Yeah, because college.
Well, we don't know college players, though.
Although I feel like college baseball's growing a little bit.
They're trying.
It's growing a little bit.
They're trying to put it on MLB Network. They're trying to make a big deal about it. But by and large, you don't know the players that they're drafting.
Top picks are high school kids.
And a lot of the players come from high school.
Yeah.
And so college baseball just not as popular as college basketball and football.
You know what I will say?
Although College World Series is fun.
Yes.
It is.
I watch it every year.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, when you talk about women's basketball and women's softball, I'd rather watch those 2 sports over men's basketball and men's baseball.
I definitely like women's college basketball is a better
It's the team game you were talking about.
It's just a much better game to watch than men's college basketball to me.
I think it's horrible.
Like, and I do like softball. Women's softball
is
there's so much energy in the game. I don't know. They play with a lot of energy there.
I used to enjoy it when I was covering high schools. I love covering high school softball. First of all, the game's over in an hour and 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. But they're fun to. There's a lot of strategy involved and low scoring and.
Yeah, I like both of those. But you know, I don't know what they can do. I think people just need to realize more than anything is that when you talk about these professional teams, these are businesses. The greatest illusion that everybody gives you is the fact that we want to win. But in reality, they're just giving you the gladiator games. They distract you from what else is going on.
That's right.
And they throw you these games.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what gladiator name do you remember? You don't remember any of their names. Would you remember that they were gladiators and that they had the games?
Speaking of which, I've been watching, I haven't finished it yet, but I've been watching the ESPN documentary on the American Gladiators. Remember that show?
Oh, I love the show. Ice and
Lace, Diamond.
Yeah.
Gimenez.
Right.
Most of them are in it. I mean, they're most of them. Like one of the guy, who's the guy with the long hair?
Turbo is one of them.
I can't remember. Anyway, he's
Blaze.
Blaze. He's like has a roommate. Like his life seems pretty sad.
Oh, these dudes like that. You know, I always when they do that little confessional, and the guy that got kind of screwed, he's living in this defunct basement with like all of this old. Like,
you watched the documentary?
Yeah, I was watching it. Right?
Where is it on? I want to watch it.
It's on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
And a guy got it. Well, I guess the guy who created it.
Johnny something or other.
He created it with a guy who was like his first contestant. He promised he was going to like split half of it.
I'm just in the middle of that part. I'm sure he screwed that guy over.
He screwed him smooth over.
Go ahead, Mike.
I do have to give a shout-out to our guy Tim Couch, by the way. I'm not sure if you saw yesterday, but he is officially on the ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame alongside an elite list of other nominees, including Eric Bieniemy, Larry Fitzgerald, Warwick Dunn, Marvin Harrison, Ryan Leaf, Marshawn Lynch, Julius Peppers, and Michael Vick.
Wow,
that's
Tim
big
Couch,
time.
pretty elite company.
That's big time.
Dang.
So shout out Tim, our guy.
Yeah.
Who's back with us in football season.
We wish him the best of luck. Man, that is a tough list. All right, anybody got a final thought? Next Little League game? I got a game tonight. Mike was supposed to show up. The kids were all excited. Now Mike's blowing us off.
Oh, I got
I'm going to come Thursday
too.
instead.
I got a game tonight. Same team we just rallied against.
Oh, back-to-back.
Back-to-back, yeah.
We're playing tonight the only team that we've beaten so far.
Ooh.
So we're 1-7. They're 2-6. And if we If we win, we'll be 2-0 against them and have the tiebreaker, so we'll be out of the basement for the first time.
Well, does everybody get into the playoffs?
Yes.
There you go.
How many games you play? We only played 12.
16.
Yeah, we only
Freddie
played 12.
Furman, real or fake?
What's that?
Freddie Furman, real or fake?
That's a real. He's a backup catcher.
Damn it, you're good.
See you at overtime.
Overtime.
We're going to leave on that note. Cheater!